Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. Have you ever wondered what goes through a man's mind when you finally stop begging him to like you? Isn't it strange how when you're actually prepared to walk away, all of a sudden he's ready to make a change? But why? Don't worry, I'll explain to you why, because on today's show, we're going to be discussing how men think when you finally stop chasing them. That way, you're able to make sense of this complete 180 men do when you finally give them the space they've been asking for. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome, all you beautiful souls, on this Monday afternoon. For me, it might be Tuesday morning for you, okay? Or Monday night. How are you all doing? Who we got in the chat up in here? We got Charisse. I see we got Soul. We got Kira. We got Malia. We got Valeria. Elizabeth, Deidre, is SH here? I think I seen SH earlier. I seen Scotty earlier. Scotty is here. Rogue is here as well. How are you all doing in the TikTok chat? Who we got over in the YouTube chat? We got Mrs. Tracy Niles, one of our amazing channel members. Who else we got? We got Carmen B. We got Base Beauty. We got Irina here. We got Jazz is here. We got Ivy, one of our amazing channel members is here. Nicole, one of our amazing channel members is here. Who else? Let me look up. Let me look through. Let me scroll. We have Clarice is here. Sage is here. The sensual Shoddy. Okay, the sensual Shoddy. And of course we have the most amazing, most intelligent, most capable, most holding the YouTube chat down-ish person, Missy America, holding down our YouTube chat in our YouTube as well. Welcome all you beautiful, beautiful souls. It's so good to see you. So good to have you here, part of the show. If you're new here, you're in for a show. You're in for a treat, okay? Let's get right into it today. We're going to be discussing emotional space is number one. Okay, and number one is going to be emotional space. Now, I've talked to you guys about emotional space before, and I want us to go a little bit more in depth today in emotional space because this is one of the things that goes through men's mind when you're actually stopping yourself from chasing men, which we never want you to be chasing men, okay? That's a grave mistake that will lead you to nothing but Pain Town. You know how they have Pound Town? There's Pain Town, and Pain Town is where you're frustrated, wondering why the guy you like and have been doing everything for, scrubbing the floor for in your maid outfit, doesn't seem to want you, look in your direction, or even care about anything that's going on with you. We don't want that for you. So let's talk about the emotional space that he now has when you actually stop chasing him. And I want to grab my pen here so that we can get into the Players Club whiteboard. Okay, give me a second. I'm just gonna go behind camera and grab my pen here. Handy dandy pen, okay? So that we can hop into the Players Club whiteboard and we can chit chat about how men think. Okay, we want to get real deep today. Real deep, okay? Get your mind out of together. So I'm going to head into our Players Club whiteboard and we're going to have some discussion here about emotional space and how that works. Let me connect my pen here, you know, technology and things, right? So let's talk about emotional space for a second. Let's, come on. All right. Let's talk about emotional space here for a second and why that's so important to everything that we're doing here, okay? Is this thing frozen? Okay, let me connect this one more time. Sometimes, you know, the world technology just be technologying, and it don't make no type of sense. Let's go back. Let's click this. Nope. Nope. Why does that? See, chat. You guys know me. I don't like this. I don't like when my technology does this. Okay, let me look on here and make sure my pencil is connected. Let me not leak my iCloud or something like that, okay? Give me 1 second so that we can properly do this right. I don't know why pencil not working. I sad. Apple Pencil. Okay. Had my pencil ready for you all, and you see how they try to do me. You know, they trying to hold us down and things like that. We don't want that, okay? So we gonna work now? Are we gonna work now? No, I guess not. Oh, chat. They're trying to hold us down. Why are they trying to do this to us, chat? I don't get it. You know, every day trying to put my best foot forward for you guys, and they be trying to hold us down sometimes. They be trying to hold us down. My pen's not working. Okay. I'm going to restart my iPad. And in the meantime, we'll have a discussion about emotional space. Sorry, chat. Okay. So let's talk about emotional space for a little bit while my iPad does some restarting. Okay. So one of the really important parts about emotional space that I want you guys to understand is it's so important to know how strange this can be, but how important this can be in your relationships. And see, here's the thing. When you begin chasing a guy, you're taking up a lot of emotional space in your relationship with him. That's not allowing him to pursue you. And remember, it's supposed to be natural to men that are building with you to want to and have the desire to pursue you, right? Because if they see it, they want you, they want to be with you, they want to get you in their life, they want to make you their wifey, they're going to want to go after, they're supposed to want to go after the things that they want and desire, okay? That's supposed to come naturally to men. Now, aside from that coming naturally to men, you have to understand when you begin chasing men because you are the one that really wants to make this work, or you see a guy, oh my God, this guy's the cutest guy I've ever met in my life. Look at his adorable face. Look at his attractive body. Look at his amazing, white smile. I want to be with him. And you begin chasing after him and doing the pursuing, trying to make this work. You see that maybe he's not that interested. You see that maybe he's a little bit aloof. He's not texting you as much. So you start thinking, okay, I have to start putting in more of this effort so that in the process of me putting in more of this effort, maybe he'll notice me, he'll want to be with me, and we will have this relationship together. You end up taking up a lot of emotional space that's supposed to be left for him to want to be with you. And unfortunately, the moment you take up that emotional space, it doesn't allow him to have any left to continue desiring you. And see, here's the really the part that sucks about this, okay? And let me see if my pen's gonna work here. Give me 1 second. If it doesn't work, don't worry. We gonna go through this regardless. All right. I'm not gonna let this silly pen issue hold me back. Okay, pen's not gonna work. Unfortunately, we can't do it like this today. But we will get to the. That's so sad. It really is sad what technology will do to try to hold you back. Sad. Anyways. We'll do this show without the pen and I'll figure it out later. So, so Cherie says you have to use the cord to connect your pen to your iPad. No, this is supposed to be the new technology. Yeah, it's supposed to be the new technology. So this is the cordless one that you just charge with your iPad and it's at 100%. So unfortunately, if it's not going to work for me, we can't sit here trying to figure it out all day. But don't worry, we got lots of great information. I can deliver it, guys, to you guys without the illustration, okay? So very important. Right? Mona says talk fast. Oh, you probably should go somewhere else on TikTok where you can find information in 10 seconds because this is going to be a long show. We're going to be here for 2 hours. If you ain't prepared to be here for 2 hours, probably go find a content creator that'll talk to you in 2 seconds. Okay? So that being said, what I want you guys to understand about emotional space and why this is so important. See, when you stop chasing men, they actually have the space to think about you and desire you. And unfortunately, and this is part of the illustration that I kind of wanted to show you guys so that you can kind of get the hold and the grasp of it, is that desire can only exist in the places where you are not present. Okay. And I know that this sounds really weird. And I've said this to you guys before, right? In that you have to understand when you're saying, oh, I want a guy to desire me. I want him to really want me. I want him to really want to be with me and really want to put his best foot forward. I want him to give me princess treatment. That's definitely possible. But you have to understand the way you trigger desire is by making yourself a little bit absent. And when you're a little bit absent, you give men the emotional space to be able to think about you and miss you. And this is the problem in your relationships and why you haven't been able to get that level of desire and want and hunger out of men, is because you're not giving them the emotional space to be able to do that. Because when you actually stop chasing men, they're actually able to think to themselves, gee, I actually wonder what she's doing now. I actually wonder what she's doing with her time. Where is she going? right? Think about all the different questions you have in your mind anytime you're texting with a guy that you really like or you've spent a lot of time with, and you're texting him all the time, you guys are messaging on the phone all the time, and then all of a sudden he just disappears. All of a sudden he's not messaging you anymore, and all of a sudden he's not as consistent with you as he once was. What do you immediately start thinking? What's he doing now with his time? Where is he? How is he spending his time? Is he going here? Is he going there? And you start analyzing all the information, everything he posts, everything. If anything he reposts, you're looking at it. You're like, oh my God, what are his likes? What is he liking? Does that have anything to do with me? Is it a subliminal? What does it all mean, right? And you're trying to decode every message and decipher every post and repost and like picture and like video just to try to make sense of it all. And see, here's the thing. The problem is you're not giving the men that you like that same emotional space, because they can't think to themselves, what are you doing? Where are you? What is your life like? What are you up to? Do you like me? What's going on with you? If you're constantly in their face trying to give them validation, or trying to help make them feel good, or tell them how much you like them and confess to them how amazing that they are. It's part of the reason why I know some people advise you to give men compliments the very first time that you're meeting them. I don't advise that. Okay? I don't advise you to be going on a compliment spree, complimenting men that you just met and telling them how amazing that they are. In your mind, you're probably thinking, and this is probably what all the other people have been telling you, oh, when you compliment them, you see, men rarely get compliments. So when you compliment them, you're going to make them feel so good, so amazing that they're going to want to be with you. Malarkey. Okay? When you compliment men, especially when it's undeserved, they're only going to think to themselves, gee, I must be the best thing since sliced bread, and I must not need to do anything for her in this relationship or situationship because she already thinks I'm the best thing since sliced bread. It's like giving men the green light to let them know, hey, before you even started, you're already at level 100. And so if you're already at level 100, what do you not need to do? You don't need to work to level up. You're already everywhere you need to go. Okay? We don't want you to do that. All right. So very important that you are able to actually give men the emotional space in your relationship by letting go. Okay. We talked about the let them theory before. I think that was by Mel Robbins, and letting go and detaching yourself in general. Right. You want to learn how to like a guy and be in a relationship with the guy, but let go of the outcome. Right? And reside yourself to the fact that, hey, the person I end up with will be the right person for me. And that person will show themselves to me in the process of me dating them. That person can be him if he wants it to be him. It can also be another guy if that other guy wants it to be him as well. The best man will win, and the best man will get access to me and my heart. But I am going to allow you to show me if you're that man. And it's very important that you let go of the idea that you want to force the guy that you're with right now to be that man. Okay. Julia, I think that's how you say your name, says, what if he's married? Then you're absolutely missing the point here, because there is no emotional space to take up or worry about when a guy's married. He has other priorities. Okay. So I say that to say one of the first point here is emotional space. And you need to understand you're actually giving men the emotional space to think about you and wonder about you when you stop chasing them and you're not so present in their life, which is great, because then they have reason to desire you and a path to desire you. Okay. So number one, emotional space. Number two is actually very interesting. It sounds horrible, but I promise you it's actually good. Number two is going to be self-doubt. Now, one of the most amazing things about, I say amazing, one of the reasons self-doubt is so good for you and what you're trying to do in your relationship with a man. Self-doubt is good for men to feel around you, because they start to feel like, I'm not good enough as I currently am. I don't just get to show up and be good enough. Okay? I don't just get to be present and be good enough. I actually have to put in effort to putting my best foot forward in order to be good enough. This is great for you. This is the thing. When you stop chasing men, you actually give them room to doubt themselves a little bit and to think to themselves, hey, I actually might need to do more to get her interested in me. I might actually have to put my best foot forward here in order to get her interested in me. See, guys aren't dumb. They also know when they're shooting above their weight here, okay? And when they're kind of reaching for the stars for a girl that they shouldn't really have access to. And they know that if they're going to do that, then they better put their best foot forward. Guys might be a little bit emotionally stunted. They're not idiots though. And so I say that to say, when you finally stop chasing a guy, you actually allow him to have a little bit of self-doubt within himself that, hey, maybe I can't just show up here and expect her to be enamored with me and love me and want to be with me just for showing up. But that's good for you because you don't want men in your life thinking that they can just show up, stand there, and be the best thing since sliced bread. You want men to come into your life and feel like, damn, if I'm going to get her and get access to her, then I better show up for her in a way that actually makes me the best man for her, in a way that actually gets me to be able to win this competition and gain her as the prize. You want men to doubt their abilities. That way they put their best foot forward. One of the reasons why we get such amazing performances from athletes or amazing feats of innovation in the world or creativity is because of fear. The fear of failure, the fear of not doing good. And so people push themselves to limits to be able to meet those expectations because they don't want to go out on a stage and fail in front of 100,000 people. They don't want to put their name on the line or their trust on the line or their respect on the line and fail in front of so many people that they're ridiculed and they, are laughed at. Right, and made fun of. And so that fear of failure pushes people to actually put their best foot forward. The doubt that they have within themselves that maybe if I just don't practice and if I just don't put my best foot forward, I might actually go up on that stage and not do well. I might actually go up on that stage and fail. So in order to prevent myself from failing, in order to prevent myself from that embarrassment, I'm going to make sure I put my best foot forward and not just rely on my talent and ability to do well. Justin Bieber can sing. He can really sing. He can wake up out of bed and sing. But if Justin Bieber has a concert, do you think Justin Bieber is not going to rehearse for his concert? Do you think just because Justin Bieber knows how to make the notes and sing the notes and do it well and look in your eyes and make you fall in love while he's singing all those notes, baby, 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 oh, right? Just because he's a heartthrob, you think he's not going to practice before his concert? You think he's not going to rehearse the songs he's going to sing before his concert? Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much talent he has, no matter how much ability he has, he doesn't want to go up on that stage and forget the words. He doesn't want to go up on that stage and fail or sing the wrong notes or do the wrong thing or you mess up the song. He wants to put his best foot forward in that performance. And what you need to understand is while he might be confident in his abilities, he doubts his ability to just say, I'm not going to practice and not do anything and not put my best foot forward and expect to do well. Right? But that's a good thing because what does he do? He practices, he gets better, he rehearses, he does all the dance moves because, Justin Bieber be on that stage dancing, he doesn't do that much concerts anymore, but, when he was in it, he be dancing, he be doing all that stuff like Usher. You see Usher dripping with sweat, abs, everything, right? He's doing all these dance moves, he's on roller skates and stuff. And my point being is that they practice that because they're not just going to rely on their ability. Oh, I'm already Usher. I'm already Justin Bieber. I'm already Beyonce. I'm already this person. I'm already that person. I don't need to practice. I don't need to rehearse. I don't need to put my best foot forward. I can just show up as I am and everyone will love me. That doesn't work. And because that doesn't work, and because they doubt their ability to just show up and everyone just loves them for showing up, they actually put their best foot forward. And I say that to say it's the same thing for you. You want the men in your life to approach you with a little bit of self-doubt. And when you initiate that self-doubt, when you actually take a step back and you let go and you allow them to chase you and you don't get obsessed with giving them validation all the time, they actually start to say, hey, maybe I can't just show up as I am and expect her to be in love with me just for existing. Maybe I actually have to be one of the best men here. Maybe I actually have to think about creativity on dates. Maybe I actually have to think about, what does she want? What is she looking for in a man? How can I put my best foot forward? How can I win out and beat out these other guys who are also competing for her and for her time? That's good though, because you know what that leads for you? It leads to you getting princess treatment from those men. So we want the men in your life to have a little bit of self-doubt. And when you finally stop chasing them, they can have that. Does that make sense to you guys? Excuse me. So far, and why that's so important, right? You want men in your life to have self-doubt so that when they do, they actually are like, hey, maybe I need to do more to get her, right? To get more out of her. Okay. Late says, so when do you validate them? Wow, that's so good water. The water is so good. I spilled it on myself. See, here's the thing, and this is going to sound weird to some of you. As strange as it is, you don't need to validate men. You really don't. And you really don't need to do that, especially with your words. You really don't. Because here's the thing. When you get good at validating men, you'll realize that you can give validation without your words. And the validation can just come in the fact that I'm entertaining you. Okay. And I'm allowing you to continue courting me and showing me that you're the best man you can be. Right. And I know that it sounds really weird and it sounds really painful, but honestly, you don't really need to validate men until they become your boyfriend or your serious, like, actual partner. Simply because men understand. See, this is the thing. The men who are actually able to, like, have the courage to, like, chase something and pursue something that they want, they understand that there is subconscious validation that, like, the fact that they're pursuing you and you're saying yes to the dates and going out with them, that is validation enough. You don't need to become obsessed with validating men and oh my God, I just want you to know you're the best thing that I've ever met. Like, you're just so amazing and you're just so awesome, and everything about you and your shirt and your pecs and your arms and your this and your... You don't need to do all that, okay? You really don't. The only time I even want you giving men any validation is when they go over and above on giving you princess treatment. Why? Because you're trying to encourage that behavior over again. Outside of that, you don't need to be validating men just to make them feel good about themselves. It's really not important. And it's not necessary, okay? You just want to be strategic about making sure that you're mean enough that they continue pursuing you, but you're also not so mean that they feel like you are not interested in them. There's a balance there, okay? Right? We don't want you worried about how to validate men. They don't need it, okay? They don't need to continue pursuing you. They just need to know that you're interested enough that you will allow them to continue pursuing you and that they're actually getting somewhere, okay? KJ says a lot of men don't want to work hard. They like low-hanging fruit. Well, of course, 100%. A lot of men don't like to work hard. A lot of men are what we call soy boys or microwave men in the Players Club, right? We call them microwave men or soy boys, the ones that they don't want to do anything hard. And microwave men, they want everything to be quick and easy. So they're frustrated very easily if everything's not quick and easy. If you don't sleep with them on the first night, they're frustrated. If everything doesn't happen on the first night, they're frustrated. If you guys don't say I love you to each other on the first night, they're frustrated. And the soy boys, they're just too shy and too delicate to do anything. They can't come up to you because they're too shy. They can't ask for your number because they're too shy. They can't ask you on a date because they're too shy. You can't do anything with those men. Nothing. And I want you to do, as soon as you see that, you see a soy boy or a microwave man, you Harlem shake it off. Get away from me. I don't have time for soy boys and microwave men. You Harlem shake them off. You're not going to entertain those men. Okay. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your breath and you're wasting your energy. Okay. They don't need to be around you anywhere close. They're like the plague. You get rid of them. Get rid of them. Okay. You're only here to entertain big dogs. Okay. What I mean by big dogs is men who are gladly able to pursue the women that they want. They identify that they want that woman. They pursue that woman. They go and get what they want in life and in their relationships, okay? Those are the only men you're going to be entertaining, not soy boys that are too shy to come up to you or say words or ask you on a date. Get rid of those men. And you're not dating microwave men that are always looking for the quick and easiest way out and the path of least resistance. Get rid of those men too, because you're only going to be frustrated dealing with the microwave man as well, because they're always going to be telling you, oh, why I gotta wait? Oh, I want to sleep with you on the first night. It's so much work. We're gonna go out on a date. Why do we gotta go for a picnic? Why can't we just sit in the house and watch Netflix? Like, I just want to watch the same show over again and lay in bed. I don't even want to use my stroke game. Can you just make me bust a nut with your mouth? Like you'll see very quickly, is if you haven't already experienced this, microwave men, they're always looking for the path of least resistance. And even when you give them the path of least resistance, they're still looking on how they can do less. They want everything to come to them easy with no work whatsoever. And they do it in their relationships, and they also do it in their life, which is the exact reason why I tell all of you, if you want to discover what a guy thinks about you and how he's going to go about the relationship, figure out how he goes about his life, because that'll be a 1-to-1 of exactly how he's going to treat the relationship. If he's looking for everything to come to him easy without any work in life, and he doesn't want to do anything hard in life, looking for the path of least resistance in life, he will be doing that exact same thing in your relationship with you and in the process of courting you. Are you following what I'm saying? Okay. So number 1 was emotional space. Okay. Number 2, self-doubt. And you want men to self-doubt themselves a little bit so that they can put their best foot forward. Now, number 2, I talked about this a couple shows ago, is that men perceive indifference as, sorry, I said number 2. This is number 3. Men perceive indifference as disinterest. Okay. Now, I want to touch on this because this is actually a very important point that I want you to grasp hold of. And if you didn't join me for that show where I kind of touched on it in more detail, I want you to hear me today. Okay. See, what has been lost upon you is you think that to show men that you're unhappy, you should scream, yell, tell them you don't like this, tell them you're unhappy with that, complain, you should be upset, you should cry, you should be hysterical. All that stuff you're thinking is going to actually communicate to the guy, stop doing what you've been doing, make an adjustment and make a change. But the reason why when you stop chasing men, they can actually think to themselves and actually want to make adjustments is because when you stop chasing them and you actually let them go, you actually show them what's called indifference. Meaning, I don't care whether or not you chase me or pursue me. I don't care if you don't. I don't care if you go and chase this girl or that girl. I don't care if you talk to me. If you don't, I just don't care. It doesn't matter. If you want to put your best foot forward and you want to have access to me, cool, you can. You're going to have to work for that though, and you can work for it. If it's not that important to you and it's not that serious for you, I promise you there's 1,000 other men lined up here ready to take on this challenge, okay? And see, when men see that from you, they are perceiving and receiving that as indifference. And this is good. You actually want the men in your life that you actually want to be in a relationship with from the very early on. You want them to perceive when you're unhappy with the way that they're acting or treating you. You want them to perceive indifference from you and receive indifference from you. Why? Because that's the only thing men understand as, oh, I actually need to make a change here. When you scream and you yell and you shout and you complain, they actually perceive that what you're thinking, oh, I'm showing you how much I dislike this, how much I hate this, and that should communicate to you how I really feel. They actually perceive that as love, ironically. So when you claw and you scratch and you complain and you scream and you yell, they're literally wanking themselves off emotionally and physically because they're like, oh, my D game is so great. Don't you know how crazy look how crazy she is, guys. Right? Look how great my D game. I must be laying it down on her so crazy. That's why she's screaming and yelling. Why do you think guys say they like crazy girls? Why do you think? Okay. Why do you think they say, oh yeah, I like a girl that's a little bit crazy? They like girls that are a little bit crazy, not because of you. They like it because of the ego boost it gives them. Because guys perceive that craziness as, oh, I'm dropping it down on her. Yes, sir. And they look at their boys and they're like, look how she going crazy. You beating out my windows, scratching up my car. Yo, you know I'm laying that thing down on her, boy. And his boys go, damn, you must be laying that shit down. She crazy as hell. It's an ego boost. So you think you're doing something, acting crazy, acting like a maniac. All you're doing is boosting his ego and showing his boys how he's the man. Okay. Now, if you actually want to make him feel something, you show him indifference. Because when you're indifferent or you don't care, and you know what happens when they're like, oh, yeah, boys, yo, I came out, yo, my girl, she said, I don't have to turn on my location. She doesn't even care where I'm at. His boys are going to go, what? What? Yeah, my girl, she's super cool. She don't care about my location. She don't need to have it. She don't even want to know where I'm going. She don't need me to text her when I come back. They'll be like, bro, that's not a good thing. You should check if your girl's cheating on you. Because men don't receive indifference as, oh, that's a good thing. She's not crazy. She doesn't care. So like, yeah, don't worry about it. They receive indifference as, brother, your alarm bell should be going off. If your girl doesn't care, that means she's probably attached to another man. So I just say that to say, you have to understand, when you finally stop chasing men, you're actually showing them indifference. And when you're showing them indifference, it sets their alarm bells off. And it actually gets them to start moving and shaking and doing things, which is exactly why when you're actually prepared to walk away and you actually do walk away, the men finally say, hey, I'm ready to make a change. Because they start finally, they start receiving indifference from you instead of receiving crazy, yelling, screaming, hysterical energy. Right? Because remember, like I said before, they receive that crazy hysterical energy as love, not hate. Love and hate feels the same to the men. It communicates the same thing to the men. They receive indifference as the thing that sets their alarm bells off. So when you actually start showing them that and they see that you're indifferent, they receive that as, oh my God, she is no longer interested in me. And once those alarm bells go off and they start thinking to themselves, she's no longer interested in me, they immediately start thinking, what can I do now to make her interested in me again? Maybe I have to take her to a nice restaurant. Maybe I have to make a big gesture. Maybe I have to hold a boombox outside of her window and throw rocks at it so she sees me outside and I can play her favorite love song. And that's when you'll notice when guys become desperate like this, when they feel like they are losing you or have lost you, that's immediately when they start becoming the most creative on how to be a good partner to you or how to deliver you all the things that they know you've been wanting. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it like magic? It's like magic how the men become really, really good at honing into what you've needed, what you've been asking for, what you've been begging and pleading for when you finally are ready to walk away. Isn't it like magic? How he becomes exactly what you've been asking for the entire time when you actually walk away. And you're thinking to yourself, why couldn't you have just done this the whole time? That should be clear evidence to you. It's in there. Okay? It's in there. It actually exists. It's not like floating off in thin air. Men aren't dumb. They're not incapable of understanding you or how you feel or what you want. It's in there. They just don't want to do it. Or they think it's not necessary to continue having you. So until you show them disinterest, until you take a step back from them, until you show them indifference, they don't think that it's necessary to make a change or an adjustment. But when you immediately stop chasing them and you show them that indifference and they receive that as disinterest, that is when their wheels start turning that, hey, I need to put my best foot forward here if I want to continue having access to her or continue having her in my life. Because if I don't, I will lose her if I have not already lost her. Men are really, really good at getting a girl back who they feel like they've lost. They're really creative then. They're really mindful then. They're really demure then, okay? They can present themselves really, really good then. When they feel like they have you in whatever capacity they want you and they don't have to make a change or an adjustment to get you, that is when they're the laziest. Lazy, okay? They don't care. They don't want to make adjustments. They don't want to put their best foot forward. They just want to sit back, relax, and receive. They open their legs and they don't want to do anything for you. I'm telling you. And when you get your man in the habit of just being lazy, he will continue becoming lazier and lazier and lazier and lazier. You won't even be able to get him to jackrabbit himself inside of you for 90 seconds at a point. He'll become so lazy. He'll say, in order for me to bust a nut, I don't even want to give you any... Excuse me, my voice. He'll say, I don't even want to give you any pleasure. I just want to sit back, relax. You slurp me off while I play video games. I get all the pleasure and you get nothing out of it. Okay. And you'll begin to build a really, really lazy man that wants to do less and less and less for you. Okay. We don't want you getting into a relationship with a microwave man. We don't want you getting into a relationship with a soy boy. We want you receiving very good princess treatment, not having to do all the work and be the boyfriend and the girlfriend. Okay. Does that make sense? Gigi says, what if he goes on for 90 minutes? If your man can last 90 minutes, I think you have a different problem. Know this. Okay. All right, guys. So does that make sense? Does that make sense to all of you so far? Okay. Right. So number one, we had emotional space. Number two, self-doubt. Number three was indifference and disinterest. Okay. Excuse me. Does that make sense to you guys so far? I was just making a joke. I don't know. Your man shouldn't be able to last 90 minutes though. That's excessive. Okay. One round, 90 minutes. I think we have, we have some discussion to have. Okay. So emotional space was number one, self-doubt number two, indifference number three, indifference equaling disinterest number three. Number four is what I call the cookie jar theory. Okay. So the cookie jar theory is essentially the idea. I made it up. Okay. It's a theory, but I made it up. We don't tell anyone I see. Okay. I made it up. The cookie jar theory is essentially that men are only going to be able to see the value in you when you're not present in their life. It's a little bit similar to what we talked about at the very beginning with the emotional space, but I actually want to dive into a little bit more detail and use an analogy for you so you can understand why this exists. Okay. So, the cookie jar theory will go like this. Let's imagine a scenario in which you come over to my house. Okay. You at mi casa. You come over to my house. I introduce you to my big old mansion. I'm like, hey, look, it's a beautiful mansion. Got granite tops. Everything's clean, spick and span. I'm inviting you over. I want you to have a good time. Make yourself at home. This is my kitchen. This is my house. I take you upstairs. I take you downstairs. I take you to the living room. I take you to all the bathrooms. You get to see the whole place, right? It's a really nice place. So you come to my house and you're visiting. You're like, wow, this is really nice. This is really amazing, Tomisin. You've done really well for yourself. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm like, look, I have to go somewhere today, but obviously you can't come with me. It's a very important business. I got to make a lot of money. So you're going to stay at my house while I go out for the rest of the day. You make yourself at home though. You're staying at my house, so you're like, okay, perfect, Tomisin. I'm like, okay, so there's stuff in the fridge for you to eat, and I showing you all the bathrooms, all the rooms, so you can sleep in any one of the rooms except for mine, and you can do whatever you want in the house, okay? There's a whole bunch of food stocked here, and you can have all this. So I show you the pantry. I show you where all the snacks are. I show you the cupboards. I show you how to use the microwave and the stove and the air fryer. I like to air fry my food, okay? So I show you how to use the air fryer. Everything is state-of-the-art. Everything's amazing. Everything's great. Fridge is full, stocked with every flavor of everything you could ever imagine, okay? And I say, look, you're over at my house. My house is your house. I love you. You're amazing. So you can have anything you want in my entire kitchen. Eat anything you want, as much of it as you want. You're my guest, and I want you to feel at home here. Except the one thing you cannot have in my entire house that you can't eat is the cookies in the cookie jar on top of the fridge. If you dare to eat those cookies, I will unalive you. And I'll unalive you real fast and real hard. They won't even remember your name after I'm done with you. Anyways, aside from that, have a great day. Eat as much food as you want. Enjoy the entire house. And I'll be back around nighttime. Okay, I'll see you then. All right? Now, when I leave the house, You have all this entire mansion to yourself. You can watch TV, you can watch Netflix, you can go in the bathroom, lay on the floor in the bathroom, it's heated floor. You can sit on the toilet, heated toilet seat. You can go to the couch, sprawl yourself out. Wi-Fi is amazing. Everything is amazing. You can eat anything of the food in the fridge that you want anywhere. There's even other cookies in the cupboard, okay, that you can have. But after we have that conversation, what is the one thing that's going to be on your mind the most? I just introduced you to my whole mansion, my whole pantry, and everything that you have access to. But now that I've left the house, the one thing you're thinking of all the possible things that you can eat and have access to, you're thinking of the cookies on top of the cookie jar. Why are you thinking of the one thing that I told you not to eat? I let you have anything you wanted. I even let you have other cookies in another package that's in a cupboard. Why are you thinking of the cookies in the cookie jar on top of the fridge? Because it's the one thing I told you that you cannot have, that you cannot eat. It's the one thing that I made off limits to you. And that is exactly what is consuming your mind. So I give you that example to help you understand when you stop chasing man and you take a step back, even when you like him, and you purposely do nothing, even when it's painful, and even when he's not saying anything to you, you see, you become like forbidden fruit. You become like the cookies on top of the cookie jar. The one cookie that I told you you cannot eat. Why? Because if I'm not chasing you, and I'm not readily available for you, and I might not even have real interest in you, simply because I cannot have you, all of a sudden, I actually have room to desire you and want you. And especially if I know that no one can have you or no one's able to get access to you, now I want you even more. And there's a really crazy psychology to that, because think about this logic as well. In the example that I gave you of the cookies in the cookie jar, the cookies don't even actually have to be good. The cookies don't have to be homemade. The cookies don't even have to be your favorite flavor of cookies. Simply because I told you you can't have them, they become something curious to you that you want to know more about, that you want to explore, that you want to try, even if they're not even your type of cookies, even if you don't like cookies. All of a sudden you're thinking about it because there's a psychology behind it that you're not even in control of. Okay? You're not in control of your desire to desire something that you can't have. And it's the same thing for the men. Even if you're a quote unquote regular girl, you're not a superstar, you're not Beyonce, you're not the Tyla, you're not Ice Spice, okay? They're all regular human beings. But even if you're like, oh, but I'm not like those girls, right? You can still elicit that same emotion out of men by simply being something that they feel they can't have access to. But you know when they can't feel like they don't have access to you? When you're the one chasing after them. Okay? And I know this concept is a little bit abstract in theory, but I just present it to you to help you understand you can actually elicit these type of things out of men. And see, when you actually stop chasing men, you give them the space to be able to think and desire you. Okay? To be able to think about you, think about and miss your absence, and then in turn desire you because they miss your absence, okay? So, and that's precisely what we want from you. Malia says, Tomisin, what if I did that for 4 days and now he's not chasing me no more like he did day 2? This is a great question, and this is a question that I always get asked whenever I talk to you guys about chasing and pursuit and things like that. What you need to understand is you're not here to be in a relationship with every man, okay? And I need all of you to take in this point. I'm answering a question, but this is actually a very important point because I knew this would be asked. You're not trying to be in a relationship with every man, okay? You're not. And you're not going to be. You don't need to be. You're going to be in a relationship with the right man who actually puts his best foot forward with you in the relationship and does what is necessary to be your man. So here's the thing that you're going to have to realize when you start taking a step back in your relationships or with the guys that you're talking to. What you're going to realize is some of those men don't even have the level of interest in you required to build a relationship off of. I'm going to say it one more time because I know maybe it might have went some over your head. Some of you might be half asleep with your hand in your pants. You need to understand, for some of the men, when you take a step back and you do what I just described, the cookie jar theory, and you show him that indifference, you're going to realize that the man that you're talking to or in a relationship with doesn't even have the level of interest in you required to build a relationship out of. Why? Because when you take a step back from him, it does nothing to him. Why? Because he's not even interested in building with you. He's not interested in being with you. So when you take a step back from him, he says, okay, cool. I'll just go somewhere else and talk to someone else. Because they don't have the desire to be with you. And I know this is sad for some of you, but it actually, I want you to re-look at it from a different lens on how good this actually is. Because when you take a step back from a guy and you realize that nothing happens after that and he doesn't pursue you after that, you're actually giving yourself the most important answer that you were needing all this time. Because throughout your relationship, I'm sure you were thinking to yourself, I wonder why he does this or why he does that or why his actions don't match his words. Why does he tell me he wants to be with me, but he doesn't make me feel like that? And I'm sure that became very, very confusing to you. But like Ivy just said in the YouTube chat, you start providing yourself with clarity when you take a step back. Because when you realize there is no relationship unless you're the boyfriend and girlfriend, you realize you were wasting your time this entire time anyways. So you actually gave yourself an answer more clearly and quickly than if you were continuing to be the boyfriend and the girlfriend. Because it might be painful for you because you're like, but Tomisin, when I took a step back, he did nothing. And now I have to do more so that we can continue being in this relationship again. No, in reality, it's a good thing because now that you realize that, you should stop being in that relationship altogether. I know that's painful. But when you realize that, you can realize that you've been wasting your time. Instead of sitting there continuously frustrated that, hey, I don't feel like I'm getting treated how I should be treated, and I feel like I'm wasting a bunch of time and energy in this relationship and not getting anywhere in this relationship. It's painful, but I can assure you it's less pain than spending more time and energy with a guy who doesn't treat you how you expect to be treated. It's less painful, right? Understanding this earlier, and having clarity earlier is always going to be less painful than wasting more months and more years of your life on a guy who doesn't even want to build with you or doesn't have the level of intention required to do hard things. And the hard thing is like pursuing you in this relationship. Because the reality of it is, if you have to be the boyfriend and the girlfriend in order for this relationship to exist, you're going to end up emotionally drained regardless. When you have to be the man and the woman and his mother, you're going to be very, very, very drained. And so in the end, when you waste years of your life, you're only going to be in more pain than just taking a step back and realizing, oh, there is nothing in this relationship here. Okay? There is nothing here for me to build off of. In fact, the only reason we're even in this relationship or situationship is because I've been carrying this relationship or situationship on my back. And if it wasn't for that, there would be nothing here. That realization is painful, but it definitely will help you. Okay? It will help you in the long run, and it'll help waste less of your time in the long run. Okay? Right? Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, you have to get good. You have to get good at the acronym we describe in the Players Club called LAURA. LAURA is to listen, observe, receive, and analyze. Okay, the reason we call it LAURA is because those are the things you need to be focusing on whenever you get into a relationship or you start dating a guy. You need to be listening, observing, receiving, and analyzing, because a lot of guys will come to you ready to waste your time, waste your precious life force away, take up all your brain space, and have you chasing around Scooby-Doo clues, only to be going in circles. And then one day he gets up out of the car that he's been driving you in circles with, and he says, great, that was a fun time. Now I'm going to go do something else, okay? Someone says Laura. Laura is an acronym for what I want you guys doing on your dates. Don't worry. In one of these shows, I think this week, we're going to go through the whole acronym. We're going to break it down, okay? Laura is to listen, observe, receive, and analyze. That is what you need to be focusing on when you're on dates, when you're dating men in general, right? Because those are the most important things to gather the information necessary that you don't make mistakes, okay? So, the emotional space was number one. Excuse me, I'm drinking so much, I'm burping so much, it's crazy. Emotional space, number one. Self-doubt, number two. Indifference equals disinterest, number three. The cookie jar theory, number four. Now, number five is what I call narrative building. See, when you finally stop chasing a man, finally, you've listened to the Players Club and you're liberated now. Okay, I need to stop chasing men. I'm actually need to invest in me. You're liberated now. What happens is, for the men, they can now start building a narrative that benefits you. And this narrative goes like this. If this woman has stopped chasing me, maybe I'm not as interesting as I once thought. Maybe I'm not the man that I once thought, right? This is the self-doubt. Maybe I've done something wrong. I'm wondering what it is that changed about me or our relationship that stopped her from liking me. Let me just fix this here. That stopped her from liking me or stopped her from chasing after me. Men will begin pondering upon all the different things that transpired in your relationship. So when we went on that date, I remember I made a joke about girlfriends that are single are so useless. Did that joke offend her? When I was eating my food, I kind of ate it really fast and I stuffed my face and I had spaghetti all over my face like a kid. Do you think that turned her off? When I ate my steak, I ordered my steak well done because I don't like it pink in the middle, and I put ketchup on my steak. Maybe that made me look like a kid or childish, right? And they start, in their mind, they start going over everything that transpired in that relationship. Every date, every text message, every interaction, every conversation, both in person and over the phone and on FaceTime. But this is where the narrative starts building. You see, men begin to think to themselves, well, I'm spending so much time thinking about this woman and what she wants and our conversations and everything that's transpired in our relationship. So they start building a narrative. The only way someone can have this much space taken up in my brain is if I really like that person. So this is where everything starts snowballing and feeding into itself. See, the weirdest part about doing nothing is it does so much while you do nothing. Because when they build that narrative that, hey, I can't think about you, spend so much time thinking about you if I don't like you, they start building a narrative to start looking for all the reasons that make you so unique that they like you so much more than other people. So it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because since they spend so much time thinking about you and wondering what it is that you think or what you want or why you're not chasing them anymore, because that takes up so much brain space, they assume the only reason you can take up that much brain space is if they really like you. So then they are forced to build a narrative within their own mind of why they must like you so much more than all the other people in their life, because they can't understand why someone has come into their life and is now taking up so much brain space. So you know what they do? They build a narrative around you and who you are, just simply by you being you, to try to make sense of the fact that I like her so much more than all the other girls that I've ever come across and went on dates with. And so they find any reason whatsoever to make you unique in a way that makes you stand out from other people. But the reality of it is, all you've been doing is doing nothing and being yourself. And when you are yourself, they look for the unique qualities that make you you, and they say, that must be the reason I like her so much more than everyone else. So while you do nothing and when you immediately stop chasing, they build this narrative within their mind that is literally structured around you just being you. And they convince, this is so weird and twisted, but they convince themselves that the reason they like you is because you're just you. It's great for you. Because now they come to you and they're like, hey, I actually really appreciate you and I really like you. And then they act on that narrative that I like you and I want to be with you and I like you for being you. It's all great for you, because where can they not get another copy of you? They can't get another copy of you anywhere else except for being with you. And remember, they built this narrative within their mind that the reason they like you is for the unique ways that you're you. So it's funny when you do nothing and you lean into more of your authentic self, men begin building their own narrative of why they like your authentic self more than any other woman around town. And then they become attached to your authentic self more than they're attached to any other woman around town, because no other woman will be good at being you as you are good at being you. So when you can combine doing nothing and you can stop chasing men in your life, and you can combine that with investing yourself and living your own authentic truth, you actually put men in a position that want you or are interested in you to not only fall in love with you or desire you, but they desire you for being uniquely you, not desiring you for being a photocopy of someone else, not desire you for being like Ice Spice or being like Tyla or being like Lotto or being like I don't know who. Okay, they desire you for being who you are, because they've convinced yourself that who you uniquely are is the reason why they like you so much more than all the other women. You following what I'm putting down here? Okay. Does that make sense? Right? Someone says, question, isn't that just brokenness and an unhealed individual? What you have to understand is whether someone is extremely confident or not confident and insecure. It's always, because here's the thing. Today's topic is how men think when you stop chasing them. It's always going to make someone, even the most confident, question someone that used to be on my back, chasing me all the time, wondering everything that I'm doing, always going crazy for me, all of a sudden seems disinterested in me, all of a sudden has become indifferent to me. No matter how confident you are, you're always going to question within yourself, what has changed about me or that person that has led them to stop chasing me? If you had a stalker, let's just put it like this, okay? And maybe you'll be able to absorb this. If you had a stalker that messaged you every single day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, and sent you all sorts of love notes all throughout the day, even if you blocked his number, he would text you from a private number every single day, paragraph on paragraph on paragraph, confessing his love for you. And you had this stalker for years, to the point where you expected to get those paragraphs every single day. And when people would see them on the phone, they're like, who is this? They're like, oh, that's just my stalker. My stalker texts me from all types of phone numbers all throughout the day. I can't get rid of my stalker. And you literally became accustomed to that. What would you start thinking when one day the stalker doesn't text you, doesn't send you a single message, doesn't send you a single paragraph, not a voice note, not an IGDM, nothing. The stalker just all of a sudden, poof, vanishes and stops messaging you. You're going to wonder, what happened? You might even be a little bit disappointed. I'm so used to you stalking me every day. I feel like something must have happened that you're not stalking me anymore. Right? Someone says, is he up to something? Right? You're going to start questioning and thinking, even if you're just thinking abstractly, what is that stalker up to? The moment the stalker stops giving you that same level of attention, now your mind is focused on, well, what's going on with that stalker? What's he thinking? What's he doing? What's he up to? And you see how it's just a natural occurrence. When someone has been pouring into you time and time again for so long, you become accustomed to that as a man as well. So the moment you stop chasing that man, it doesn't matter how confident he is, how whatever evolved he is, whatever you want to call it, he's immediately going to think, oh, what happened to her? She used to chase me around all the time. She used to be on my case all the time. She used to message me all the time. She used to be so anxiously attached all the time, trying to do everything for me, scrub the floor in her maid outfit, give me handies and footies just to get me to like her. All of a sudden, she doesn't want to do that anymore. All of a sudden, she's disinterested in doing that. All of a sudden, she just doesn't seem to care anymore. What happened to her? And see, this is where a lot of men start spiraling. And if they have any level of interest in you, a lot of times that spiral can lead them to them even liking you more, as weird and strange as that sounds. Because they start wondering so much about what's going on with you that they feel the need to try to understand by either pursuing you more or trying to, ask you questions or reach out to you or whatever the case may be. They start showing you attention simply because they're trying to understand why you're not showing them any more attention. But it's good for you. It's great for you. It's amazing for you. That's what we want. We want that for you. We want men to build a narrative within their mind, what's going on with you. We want them to start thinking of you instead of you thinking of them, scrubbing the floor for them, and you chasing after them. Because when you're doing that, they're only going to overlook you. Okay? Does that make sense? So do you guys have any questions about the 5 we just discussed? Emotional space, self-doubt, the indifference equaling disinterest, the cookie jar theory, and the narrative building. Okay? Does that make sense? Tiff says, what do I do if we're long distance? You know what? I'm getting sick of you all. I love you, but one of the mistakes a lot of you are making, you're doing all this silly not long distance. I'm going to tell you a little bit of truth, and it makes me sad to tell you this, but I have to be real with you because some of you guys get fooled about this, and it makes me mad every time. A lot of you are making the mistake of trying to build a long distance relationship with a man who's actively building physical relationships with women in his area. It pains me to say it, but just please rid yourself of the idea that the men are so much better in the places that you're not. Because the reality of it is men are visual creatures and they like to touch and feel the woman that they're with. So unless he has some deep burning desire to be with you and you specifically, most of the time, the guys who are trying to convince you that they're willing to build a long distance relationship with you are actually just keeping you as a little, a person they can chit chat with, to have company with, while they explore physical relationships with other women. Like, I'm not saying that to be rude to Tiff or anyone else who's in a long distance relationship, but I just say that because so many of you are being fooled by a long distance relationship, thinking that that's going somewhere where all you're doing is chit chatting with that man. Let me let you in on a little bit of a key to understand if you're in a real long distance relationship or you're not. Okay. So first off, what I consider a real long distance relationship is a relationship that's already been grown and cultivated. And then for whatever reason, you guys have separated because of work, because of school, because of, family or whatever that separated you two. That's what I consider a real long distance relationship. Now, even if it's not that, right, and you guys have just started building from long distance, what I want you to understand is any man who truly actually wants to build with you and is long distance with you at that current moment you won't be able to hear the end of him trying to organize seeing you in person. I can assure you, I'm telling you this as a man, I can assure you, any man who is actually invested in the long distance relationship he's in with you will be obsessed with trying to organize and schedule seeing you in person. It will be damn near all he ever talks about. Because you have to understand, men cannot go for long periods of time just being like, yeah, we're long distance, but we have no intention of actually seeing each other, and I'm just okay with that. They cannot feel that connection with you when they are not able to be with you. And so if that's the case, they're going to have a burning desire to be with you and see you and touch on you and feel up on you, okay? And I say that to say, if they don't have that burning desire, that should tell you that they're probably getting that desire fulfilled with someone that is closer to them in their life currently. Because the reality of it is, a guy can't be invested in you truthfully like that and you be long distance with him and he just says, oh yeah, I'm long distance with the girl I'm madly in love with, but it's not really that big a deal if I see her. Yeah, we haven't really planned the next time we're gonna see each other. We'll just kind of go with the flow. I just like FaceTiming her. Do you really think that men are sitting at home and saying, I'm madly in love with this girl. So in love with her, in fact, I'm just cool sitting around and FaceTiming her every now and again? It doesn't work like that, okay? When men are madly in love with you, when they have a burning desire to see you and be with you, they will want to see you in person by any means necessary, whether that means flying you out to them, whether that means going to see you, booking an Airbnb, organizing their schedule, taking time off work. And I just say that, and I say it not to hurt your feelings, because I know some of you love your long distance relationship and you feel like this is the person for you. I just say that to help pull some of you out of the delusion, because some of you will waste so many months and years of your life on a guy who has no intention of actually being in a relationship with you. And you only realize that after wasting so much time. And then after all that time is up, you're still sitting there like, wait, it's been like a year and we haven't even seen each other in person. Are we ever going to see each other in person? And then after that year, he's kind of like, so by the way, I've kind of been dating another girl and yeah, I'm going to go be with her. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah, she's really amazing. So yeah, I'll talk to you never. I have to block you now. Okay? Don't waste your time like that. And I'm telling you this as a man, and I'm telling you this because I'm your friend and I want to help you. I actually love you and care about you, and I want the best for you. But I can't love you, care about you, and want the best for you and lie to you. Because I know men, and I know how men are, and I know how a lot of men are treating long distance relationships. Okay? I've even been in long distance relationship myself. And I know when I really wanted that girl, I had a burning desire to see her in person and make it happen. When I wasn't really that interested, I just kind of used it to be on the back burner just to waste time. Don't do that to yourself. Okay. India says not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. Okay. Do you guys have any more questions about the 5 that we just discussed? Okay. Maria in the YouTube chat says, I waited on a guy for 5 years. Oh God, that's painful. That's painful. I don't want that story for you. You know, I don't want that story for any of you, and I don't want any of you to waste your time. I want all of you to take your time so seriously and so valuably. One of the things that I try to actively undo for all of you in the Players Club is I constantly try to preach to you every single day. I want to be like a tick in your brain. I want you to see me in your sleep, in your dreams. You see my face and you see my voice. When you take a shower, you see my face, you see my voice. When you're brushing your teeth, when you're on your dates, I'm in your head 24/7. Okay. When you're on the toilet, all the time. The reason I want that, and one of the things I want to hammer home to you that you're always seeing and always hearing, is make sure that you spend your time valuably, and you take your time seriously. Don't do what a lot of people are going to convince you of and waste your time on people and with people and in situations that don't serve you. And what I mean by don't serve you is there is no long-term goal here. Okay. Don't just waste time for the sake of fun. Okay, because it's not fun to waste years of your life. It's not fun to make someone a priority only to figure out years down the road that that person is going to go and date someone else and you're going to now take the back seat. That's not fun. So never convince yourself that I'm just having fun today at the expense of your happiness tomorrow. The person you always want to be serving is future you. And you want to be trying your best to make decisions for future you. Because at the end of the day, the decisions you make that serve future you will be the decisions that lead to your ultimate happiness. Not your short-term happiness in the moment. Because short-term happiness is just doing what feels good then. But a lot of times when you make decisions for short-term happiness, you're basing it off your emotion in that current moment. And then down the line, you're going to look back at that decision and be like, damn, I wish I would have made a different decision. And you're going to live with a lot of regret. Whereas if you could be in that moment and say to yourself, what would future me appreciate the most in this current moment? What decision would future me appreciate the most in this current moment? Let me figure out how to make that decision now so that future me is happy about the decision that current me made. I know I'm going a little bit sci-fi on you, but I promise you, if when you start learning this and when you're listening to the show all the time, you're hearing my voice, it'll start connecting with you. You'll start meeting guys and dating them or talking to them, and you'll start saying to yourself, what's the actual point here? What are we actually going to do here? Are we actually going to build something? No, you're not even boyfriend material. You're damn sure not husband material. You don't want to treat me like a princess. You don't want to take care of me. Yeah, you might have some great D. Yeah, you might be able to D me down or whatever for a little bit. But what's going to happen after that? You're going to go find another girl to D down. What's the point? You're not going to take care of me. You're not going to make it easier for me to find love. In fact, you're going to make it harder for me to find love because you're going to confuse me and you're going to waste my time and you're going to not let me move forward and move on. So why would I invest myself in you? And you'll start getting very stingy with your time. I want you to get stingy with your time. Okay? When you get stingy with your time, you won't waste it on other people. And when you're not wasting it on other people, now you have something to give back to yourself because you only have 100%. Okay. Tracy said we need a convention. Maybe one day we'll do all this in person. We'll have like a live show. We'll do all this in person. It'll be like a big thing. Maybe one day. Okay. So I hope that makes all sense to all of you guys. Now it's time for our second segment of the day and of the show where we react to some amazing TikToks and videos that are going on around town. Okay. So we're going to hop into our react segment of the show. Everyone spam up your camera emojis and your headphone emojis in the chat because we're hopping into our react segment, okay? Camera emojis, headphone emojis in the chat. You're not recording, me lathering myself off with baby oil, okay? It's not that type of recording, okay? But we are going to be recording and watching some stuff. Everyone spam that up. I'm going to go get my headphones so we can start reacting, okay? No baby oil emojis, okay? Not that type of recording. Okay? So let's hop into this here react segment in here, okay? No Diddy. No baby oil. We're gonna react to some of these videos around town. Okay, let's go up in here. Our react segment. Oh my goodness. Some amazing videos that have been submitted. Oh, so let me let you guys in. If you ever want to submit to me a video to react to, you can submit them by either going into our Discord where we have Tomisin Reacts and I take some videos off there. Or you can also go into just at me or mention me on TikTok. And I usually pull videos from there as well that you guys want me to react to. I also seen some of you guys were DMing me that. If I see your DM and I see you send me something and I think it's interesting, I'll also put it in there as well. So I try my best to pull from all the places that you guys contact me to watch videos or react to videos from. So we have a bunch to do today since it was the weekend. Let's go through some of the ones submitted here. I think we did. Oh, guys, by the way, I know we did.
Men don't pick the woman that it took.
I know we did Margarita yesterday, but I might collab with Margarita because I actually realized the other day, why is that? Oh my goodness. Why is that happening? Why is the Players Club emoji? Hold on, let me figure out why that. What the heck? That is so weird. That was like all over the screen there. Let's go to our. Oh, that's why. Sorry, chat. Why did that do that? Players Club. Give me 1 second, chat. I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. Oh, that's very strange. Very strange. Let me do this. Let's bring this up over here. Bring that like that. So I'm just fixing up our YouTube chat here for all the amazing people in the YouTube chat. There we go. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's better. At least better. All right. So you guys can see the chat there. Let's go ahead and get this party started. So, what I wanted to tell you guys is I actually realized that on TikTok, Margarita actually follows me. So for those of you guys who want me to collab with Margarita, just let me know. And we could definitely get that done. Maybe I'll have her on the show one day or something along those lines. Because I was looking at her one day and I was like, oh, you actually she follows my main account. So for sure we could do that. We watched that video yesterday though. So let's hop into our first one, which comes from with Love Bets. Okay.
would love for women to understand about men is that for them, the game is the game. A lot of men who are in their prime, and side note, being in their prime for men is about having money and having access, not about age necessarily. But a lot of men who are in their prime, their entertainment, their fun, their sports in life is women. So they're just trying to sample as many different types of women as they can. And they are trying to do this, spending as little time, energy, effort, and money with each woman as they can. So what men will do is they will give each other heads up. So I always talk about a CRB check, which is basically where a guy checks your background. A CRB check is not always to check your virtue. A CRB check can often just be to check your temperature. So a lot of women will not notice this, but men, when they see them out and maybe they pass them by, or if you're looking at a guy showing interest, he will check with the men around him. And side note, he won't even have to check. If that guy friends can see that you're interested in him or he's interested in you, they will volunteer any information they have about you. So a man can turn around to his girl and say, oh yeah, you can chop that. And they will let that man know the caveats. So they will be like, oh yeah, you can chop that, but she likes money, so you got to take her out a couple of times. Or they will let him know like, oh yeah, my friend chopped that. Like he had to do blah, 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 but yeah, he chopped. And basically the bottom line of the information they will give is whether that guy can smash you. Basically, whether he should waste his time trying to smash you. So guys will also say things like, if you're a woman that doesn't give it up easily, oh, she's long, don't waste your time, basically. And just...
Okay, I want to pause what she said here because she actually gave a lot of really good information, and I don't want us to forget this. This is great. And what she's saying is actually very facts. I'm telling you this from a guy's perspective. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, but Tomisin, that means that if I do everything that you talk about in the Players Club, that most of those men are going to say she's not easy, she's too hard to get, and you shouldn't bother wasting your time. Tomisin, that's going to mean that no guys approach me, Tomisin. Tomisin, that's going to mean that like no guys want me, Tomisin. Tomisin, that's going to mean like I get 0 dates, 0 matches on Tinder, and 0 guys like coming up to me and asking me for my number. I'm just a girl. I want attention too. I want guys to like me. Like I can't be a drill sergeant forever. What you need to understand is it's a great thing. What you're doing by carrying yourself that way is you're weeding out all the men who are not prepared to do anything hard for you. It's great. It is the best thing that could happen to you. Why? Because now you don't have to worry yourself as much, at least, about meeting guys who are going to try to waste your time all the time, right? Because that can become tedious as well. Going on first dates all the time, only to realize after the first date, he's just trying to use me or take advantage of me or just waste my time. Okay. And what you'll start doing as the word spreads that you're not easy and it takes a lot of work to get you, you're going to start attracting less guys who are just looking to get easy access to you. And you're going to start attracting more guys who already know that it takes commitment to actually get access to you. And it takes seriousness to actually get access to you. So the only guys that end up approaching you after a while are the guys prepared to actually take this seriously with you. Which is great for you because now you don't have to weed out so many guys by actually dating them. You actually do that by simply carrying yourself that way all the time. And then the word spreads about you and then you weed out those guys regardless. So it's great. You get to spend more time for you and less time on first dates. So don't be too worried or start hyperventilating thinking, oh my God, but that's going to mean less guys are going to approach me. Great. Precisely. Now we can only have the best of the best, even get to the point of going on a first date with you. Instead of having all the scallywags looking for scraps, trying to get the least they can from you, trying to suck you dry in the bad way and just try to extract your energy and extract what they can from you, all of them dating you, right? Because that's going to be very draining. That's when you're going to have to get very good at, analyzing situations and reading past all the lies. You're going to have to do so much more work that way. So it's great that less men will approach you because you're weaning some of them out.
Just a side note for those of us who have male friends, your male friends will say these things about you as well to their male friends. Because there is male and female friendships, but there is also the rules that govern male on male friendships. And for men, the withholding of information about other women kind of makes you just look simpish. For a man, men can think, like, do you love her? Like, why are you withholding this information? Like, if you want her, just marry her. Like, why? Like, they don't respect other men who don't give information forthcomingly about women. And then their mind will start to go to places like, oh, is it that you wanted to sleep with her, but you couldn't, and now you're like, why are you withholding the information? Is she your sister? Like, men just don't respect it. And I know for women, it's very hard for us to understand but that's how men think and operate. And they really do not see it as disrespectful to share this information about the females around them. Because every guy who's in his prime is going to want to be in his prime with other males, and you always want to be respected by other males. I'm sure a lot of us know men love each other. Like, they love their boys. The respect of the mandem is the most crucial thing to them. The fact is, nobody wants to look like a simp. All men want to look like a striker. Football terminology again. Basically, a striker, someone who scores. Great. Good one, men. And men who score do not gatekeep. We are the things that are being gatekept. Women. You don't gatekeep information about women. If you know someone she slept with, you say it. If you know someone that dated her, you say it. If you know how you can smash her easily, you say it. Like, certain men will say.
So notice, so actually what she's saying is really, really accurate. So her name is Betts, okay, with love, Betts. Notice what she's saying, and I want you guys to know that this is very accurate. I'm telling you this as a guy. What she's saying is essentially information is king. Information is the king over everything. Information will eventually lead to the person who, quote unquote, wins or loses, because the person with the most information gets to act on that information. And if it's accurate and truthful, they will always be at an advantage. And the person with less information will always be at a disadvantage. So even take note of what she's saying in the sense that men are coming to other men. And if they know you or know of you, they're asking for information about you so they know how to approach you. And so this is great for you, because if you can start building a reputation as someone who doesn't accept a lot of men in your life easily and is basically not looking for a partner, and you're not going to allow no man to take advantage of you, now this is the information getting spread to all the men in your close vicinity, the friends of your friends, the acquaintances and things like that. And so there's a character, right? A personality being built about you that's out in the world, right? In your outside circle of people. And so those people are gathering information about you in the way that you want them to be gathering information about you. So they're building a narrative around you that you want, right? And when I say you want, meaning that you only want men to show up at your doorstep by the time they already know, hey, if I'm going to be here and get a chance here, I'm going to have to put my absolute best foot forward here. So you want the guys that you even end up taking out or going out with on a first date to already know that, okay? At least the ones that are hearing of you through friends and mutual friends and things like that. You want them already emotionally and mentally prepared for what it's going to take to be with you. That way, you're not having to entertain a whole bunch of, F students because they're just looking for an easy opportunity. So like I said, when you start going about your life this particular way, not only in your friendships, just with everyone, and everyone starts learning you to be a particular way, even the guys in your life that are platonic friends, they start coming to you, they start sending information to other guys about you that's in line with how you want to be received. So imagine this, if you're a hard butt that doesn't take no BS and doesn't allow guys to just use you and take advantage of you. Imagine if one guy knows this and then another guy asked him about you. He'll say, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I tried it. She's not going for the BS. I'm not gonna lie. So to be honest with you, if you're just looking to smash, that's probably not your girl. But you know what that guy might say? He might say, oh, bro, that's music to my ears because I actually think she's interesting. Now that you told me she's not just a smash ting and you told me you couldn't get her, now I know I better put my best foot forward if I'm going to try and get her. So now you even trigger men to have a different type of attitude when they come to your front door, that it's either princess treatment or it's the highway. It's great for you. It's great for you.
Say, yeah, this one, yeah, she'll smash, but she wants to be flued out. Like, Side note, shout out to you lot that are making men fly you out to get slept with. I'm sorry, the city girl in me. But girls, we respect ourselves and our body.
I wouldn't advise you to get flued out to get slept with. I mean, maybe you get some money, some cash, you get a trip, some Instagram pictures, but you still have trauma though. So what is that really worth? I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid.
No, but for real. But shout out you lot. So just to say, do not take men's disrespect too hard. Men are just a different breed of animal. And I think I've said it in another video, but I'll say it again. Like, we see lions eat gazelles, all kind of animals all the time. And we don't think, what's wrong with the lion? The lion's sick, because you understand the nature of a lion. And you will do so much better in this dating game if you just understand the nature of a man and don't take it personally. What you can do to protect yourself is to keep your legs closed. I don't care if they've been open before, because another thing that men want to do is put you in between a rock and a hard place. So a man will say, he doesn't want a girl that's been around, but if you've slept with other people for me and you try and close your legs for me, then no. Sis, you can change anytime you like. Like, if you want to decide, you know what, I want to change, I don't want to sleep around, I just want to respect myself and respect my body. Not saying you weren't before, but this is the tangent I'm on. Do that at any time. But what will help you with that is if you do it for a prolonged period of time. You have to because people can't talk down on you for what's happened years ago. So if you're able to keep yourself in the way you want to be for a prolonged period of time, people now have to show up and talk to this version of you. But yeah, back to my original point there.
Yeah, so you kind of get her point, and I think a lot of what she's saying is accurate here. And I do love, what Beth's talked about in terms of how men go about it, and the type of how easy it can become for you to build a narrative around the type of person you want to be. And remember, information is king. So when men are gathering information about you, you want them to be gathering very particular types of information, because it can actually benefit you and the way that you end up getting treated by the men that do end up approaching you, which is always good. Okay.
The only way to take his silence is that he's not interested enough. His lack of response equals unavailability, and he's not taking you seriously. When he doesn't respond, it's because he doesn't want to. It's really that simple, ladies. He may have things going on. Yes, his grandma's sick. He might have just lost his job. He needs to take care of his kid. All those things could be happening, but he still got your message. He still saw that missed call, and he's choosing not to respond or call you back. Both things can be true. He's busy, but he also doesn't like you that much. He is not...
I like this. I like this. This is Sarah. I like this because it makes a very good important point, even more than just if he wanted to, he would. The point here is that two things can be true, and I feel like that can be lost upon us a lot of times. That someone can actually be going through stuff and actually be busy and actually have stuff to do. But also in the process of that, part of the reason why they're also not messaging you is simply because they just don't have as much interest in you as you thought they did. We had a story in our Discord, which we're going to hop into in not too long, which is our next segment. So make sure you're sending in your Discord questions. We had a question in our Discord not too long ago where someone was with a guy who got sick, and he was sick for a couple of days, and the couple of days being sick led to him not really messaging her or messaging her or asking her out for a whole 2 weeks. And I explained to her that yes, he can be sick for a couple of days, even 4 days in fact, but at the end of the day, even in him being sick, if he's not in the hospital in a coma, he can respond to your message or just give you some sort of quick update. The idea that him being sick is going to make it impossible for him to send you a message is ridiculous, okay? Not that he wasn't sick and not that it didn't affect him, but you also have to understand when you're starting to justify a man's disinterest in you by giving a bunch of excuses of why it's not just him simply being disinterested.
He is not making himself available to you. The busiest men in the world make time for women they want to make time for. Seriously, think about all the times when you haven't responded or called someone back. It's because you didn't want to. You may have had a lot going on. You were feeling down. You were super busy. But either way, you chose not to call them back. You chose not to text them back. I'm not saying that means you don't care for that person at all, but in the moment, you didn't care enough to respond. They were lower on your list of priorities. So sure, he may like you. He may still still think about you from time to time. But again, we are not mind readers, so that does nothing for us. If he wants to like you from a distance, let him, but you can't wait around for him to take action. Dating is different than friendships and family relationships. With friends and family, you can go days or even months without speaking to each other, and everything is still fine. You don't take things personally, but a romantic relationship, them going ghost is just unacceptable. Maybe it's not a fair double standard, but you do expect more consistent communication and effort from someone you're in a romantic relationship with. So I will continue to stand by the fact that if you're not hearing from that man, you should not wait around for him. You need to move on. You can wish him well from afar, but clearly he's not available to date you seriously. So leave him alone.
You know what I like about her voice? It's like she's like yelling, but she's so soft and feminine that it's like it's not really a yell. But she's passionate, but she's like so cuddly.
Yes, his grandma's sick. He might have just lost his job. He needs to take care of his kids.
But I agree with everything that she's saying, right? Don't just, when you see the disinterest, understand it's disinterest. Don't build a narrative that it's not disinterest, because you know when it's disinterest. Okay, you really know that. But you are going to convince yourself when you really like the guy that it's for some other reason. But when you do nothing, it can become very clear to you. That's why doing nothing is very scary. Okay?
When a woman is talking, you still in the game. When she goes silent, it's done. So if that woman is still talking and she's still arguing and complaining,
they always make the music so loud in these.
Don't like it, but it's a sign that we're still in the game. Her silence is louder than her sound.
I don't want to get a copyright, so I have to pause it and talk every now and
She
then.
telling you that she overwhelmed, that she feels like she about to go crazy, that she feels like she losing, the next thing she gonna do is not tell you nothing. And let me
That's facts.
tell you something. If she get quiet, bro,
close to it,
you can forget it. My basketball coach told me, I remember, I was like, bro, he always on me. Like I played D1 ball. I was like, you always on me. He said, Keon,
On him, no diddy.
if I stop talking to you, then you in trouble. As long as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to potential. If she say, you know what, don't even worry about it, bro, you need to go find you an apartment because you're about done.
Okay, so in all seriousness, one of the things that I want you to take here, this is a table of men talking to men. So take notice of how they're talking to each other and what they're advising each other on, and what I just discussed with you earlier. Men receive indifference as disinterest. He is a man talking to a table of other men, and he's explaining to them that exact thing. The time you should be the most worried, he's saying, men, hear me. The time you should be most worried of your woman and of your relationship is when she shows you indifference. Because indifference is when she'll stop talking, she'll stop asking for things, she'll stop complaining about things, and that's when you know you've probably lost her. Okay? So think about this. If I'm telling you, I'm a man, I'm telling you, if you really want him to actually want to make a change, you show him indifference, not hate, not screaming and yelling. And this guy is talking to other men and telling them the time you should be worried, men, is when your woman stops talking and stops asking anything of you. Now you know if you actually want to affect a man or affect the way he feels about you, or actually try light a fire under his butt to make a change or make an adjustment, you show him indifference. Because clearly that's the only thing that men receive as an alarm to actually make a change. When you scream and you yell and you talk this and you complain that, they're not receiving that as I need to make a change. They just think that that's the same thing as love. But when you actually take a step back and you stop saying anything and you stop complaining about anything, that's immediately when the men start saying, oh boy, I messed up. I might be cooked here, boys. I might have to make a change here, boys, right? And that's good for you, because when your man has a fire lit under his butt like that, that's when he'll actually put his best foot forward. And when he's putting his best foot forward, you're getting a lot of good treatment and not a lot of horrible treatment, okay? Princess treatment, I should
if
say.
you understood your value, you would be quicker to walk away from bullshit. Like for me at this point in my life, I'm not spinning the block on bullshit.
You better say that.
You just can't keep spinning the block on bullshit. You really can't. And you have to have self-respect, and you have to have boundaries. If you don't value yourself, trust and believe a man won't value you.
And that is
And
why.
you gotta stay having hope and faith in God.
Yes.
You really do. Like, you can't think that the best is the one that's treating you like shit. That's the best?
That's the best.
Are you kidding me?
Not the best.
Honey.
Yeah.
It is this point in my life.
Why she ad-libbing her like that? Not the best.
Not spinning the block on bullshit.
You better say that.
You just can't keep spinning the
You
block
better say that, sis. I'm just playing.
on bullshit. You really can't. And you have to have self-respect, and you have to have boundaries. If you don't value yourself, trust.
Okay, but in all seriousness, there's a very important point being made here. Men will disrespect you as much as you allow them to. Very simple. And you need to realize that and like breathe that in and soak in that. Okay. Because if you let men take advantage of you, waste your time, not provide you with any clarity, keep you in a confused limbo state, they will gladly do that. Because who does that serve? It serves the man. He will extract from you, both emotionally and physically, and then go and give all that energy that you've poured into him. He'll go and use that to chase after a girl that isn't pouring into him, that has standards and has boundaries and has expectations of him. So you'll end up dried, shriveled up, wondering why you have been left lifeless by a man who has come into your life only to take from you, and why after you give as much as you could possibly give, he has not appreciated you, not one iota. And in fact, in the process of you giving all you can give, he spit in your face and then right in front of you, gone and given all of that amazing awesomeness that you built him up to be to some other woman. Don't be that woman. Okay? Don't.
Men hate themselves. That's the bottom line. Men really do hate themselves. So, and
What do you mean by that?
what do I mean by men hating themselves? The male has to lie to women. He has to lie. It's not even a question if he's gonna lie. He has to lie, and he'll try 15 different hats to figure out which one will get the woman interested in him, because he can't show his true self, because if he show his true self, she ain't gonna like him, right? And so if a woman speaks about the nature of a male and what men do, and they hear it from a woman, the mirror is actually being put in his face, and he hates what he sees. He hates what he sees, which is the reason why he has to lie, right? Because a person who loves themselves and they love what they see in the mirror, they want to live in that truth and present themselves however they come. You accept me or you don't accept me. The male cannot do that because he needs the woman's validation so bad, because a male ain't no top dog of other men if he ain't got a bunch of women. If you don't got a bunch of women, then what are you really? Men.
So what she says is the reason why I advise you guys with the acronym LAURA. Okay? LAURA. LAURA is to listen, observe, receive, and analyze. That way, when guys are coming into your life, because the reality of it is the idea that you're only ever going to meet men in a perfect utopia that actually want the best for you in a relationship and want to treat you well, that's never going to happen. Okay. And I don't even want to entertain that as an idea or us sit around and complain about why that isn't the case, because it's a waste of our time. What we're better served doing is figuring out how you can better decipher the men who aren't here to be serious with you so that you don't have to waste too much of your time on them. LAURA is one of the ways, systems that we are using to do that. Listen, observe, receive, and analyze. That way, when men come into your life, you can do all of those things and be able to gather truthful and accurate information about him and what he's here for and who he really is. Not the fake person, not the person who you're going to see on Saturday nights when you guys are slurping Italian pasta together, to make things look and feel good, but the actual person who he really is on a Tuesday afternoon that you're really going to get to know, okay? How he really feels and how he actually goes about life and this relationship. And learning that and understanding that and getting that truth is what will let you get a sneak peek as to what you're actually going to experience in the relationship, not the hunky-dory, nice guy smiling from ear to ear on a Saturday night when you guys are slurping spaghetti at an Italian restaurant, okay? Let's go to our next video
when
here.
God blesses you, not if, God will bless you with an awesome man of God for a husband. Because God will bless you with a man of God, a man after God's heart, and a man that is after your heart. So that means he will be a good man. So ensure that you do everything to let that man know that you are in his corner. If no one else, you are in his corner. If no one else believes that you believe, ensure that. You have no idea the spiritual implication, the emotional, mental, and physical implication and ramification of you doing that. And that man will do everything to ensure that he is fulfilling his biblical duty as your husband and loving you the way Christ loved the church, even giving himself unto death for the sake of his bride. You understand? I'm letting you know, because a woman can speak to the king in a man or the fool in a man, because every man carries both. There is a fool in every man, no matter how anointed they are. And there is a king inside of every man. Who you speak to will be the one that will rise. If you keep speaking to the fool, you don't know how to do anything. I'm tired of you. Why can't you get it right? I'm tired. Okay, well then all you're going to see is a fool. But when you speak to the king inside of a man, the king will grow and rise.
Okay, so this is not bad advice here. I wouldn't say that, but also keep in mind, guys, you want to be speaking to the king and the man that you're dating. Like the man you're actually in a relationship with. Like the man that actually identifies himself as your boyfriend. This is not to diss, but some of you are in situations where the guy you believe is your boyfriend doesn't even claim himself to be your boyfriend, okay? So I know some of these videos are really nice and magical and they make you feel all warm and fuzzy when he talks so strongly and passionately, speak to the king and a man. But then I know this is the thing. I know some of you listen to that and you start thinking, okay, I'm going to speak to the king and the man that I just met and I met on Hinge and I'm going on one date with. It's not how that works, okay? Because what he's referring to is being in a long-term committed relationship with someone and speaking to the king in your husband, right? Or your boyfriend, not in a random guy thinking that speaking to the king in him is going to make him do right by you. That's not how that works, okay? I know that he obviously means well in his message, but I just, you're listening to me, so I want to give you guys that caveat when he's saying that. I don't want you guys to be thinking, oh, well, I'm going to speak to the king and the guy that I'm going to meet tonight off of Tinder, and maybe when I speak to the king in him, when my legs are spread wide open behind my head, it's going to make him realize that he should treat me, but no. Let's go to our
He's comfortable. He is taking the relationship for granted. It's no longer a priority for him. And it's
I do not want to get a copyright because of this.
Kind of like, and I don't know if this sounds harsh, but it's kind of like, well, let me.
Okay, we're going to skip this video because the music is so loud. I'm guaranteed to get a copyright that way. Let's go to one. There's lots that we got to get to anyways. Let's go to one of these. I know you guys are going to want to do a
long distance
video.
Relationships aren't real relationships, okay?
Oh, perfect. You see, me and Miss Shara, we don't always agree, but when we do agree, it's magical. We should have a debate show. I'm telling you, it would do crazy numbers, me and Shara. This is great. This is great. This is great. I haven't watched this. This is already great. Let's see what Shira has to say.
Long distance relationships aren't real relationships.
What did you say? Let's replay it one more time.
Long distance relationships aren't real relationships, okay? They're not real. You might as well be in a relationship with a imaginary friend. They're not real. I don't like them because they're not real. Men need to have a woman right here, right now, that he can touch, or he's going to be touching on something else.
I'm going to start crying. What did I just tell you guys? What did I just tell you? 99% of the time, when you're building an emotional relationship with your pen pal of long distance, that guy is building a physical relationship with a woman in his area. I'm not saying this to be mean to you or to diss you or to cast any aspersions on the guys who are in long distance relationship, but majority of them are only in a long distance relationship just to keep you as a nice pen pal buddy to talk to. Because the real guys who are really in long distance relationships are obsessed with seeing that woman in person. And for most of them, they're not obsessed with seeing you in person. So you know what that means? They're exploring their physical relationships with other women in their area.
I can't understand why y'all women don't realize that men need a physical woman. Okay? You are in a relationship with a man in a relationship with somebody else who's telling you he's in a relationship with you long distance. That's what you are. So stop asking me about these stupid long distance relationships. Those are those type of relationships people would lie about in high school. Oh, my boyfriend don't go to this school. No, it ain't got no man. Those are fake relationships, I call them. So no.
It's sad, but it is true what she's saying.
I don't believe in them. Stop asking me about them. This is the last time I answered any questions about a long distance relationship. That's just the same thing as having a long distance job. You go?
I think this is before, we had the whole, 2020.
Go to work every day? No. Are you gonna get on a plane and fly to work every day? No. Can you work remote? Sure, you can work remote.
So you guys get her point though, right? And I say this not to be funny, but like in all seriousness, I think that some of you are possessed by the long distance relationship virus. Okay. It's a virus because it will take over your mind where you believe, like, you have to understand texting a guy and even just phone calling him and FaceTiming him. It sounds cool in theory, and you might be able to get attached to that guy emotionally through that. But the guys aren't getting attached to you through that. And I need to, okay. I want you to understand, as much as you want to believe in this idea that the men in Miami are so much better than the men in New York, or the men in LA are so much better than the men in Miami, or the men in Toronto are so much better than the men in the UK, or the men in Jamaica are so much better than the men in London. Like, this obsession with men are so different in the places that I'm not is a lie. You're lying to yourself. What you're trying to do is convince yourself of a narrative that I need to go look for love in the places that I never am to find the love that I'm looking for. The reality, unfortunately for you, is men lie, cheat, are loyal and amazing everywhere. So you can find loyal, amazing men anywhere in any culture. You can also find horrible, cheating, lying men anywhere in any culture. So until you get good at understanding how to observe the men that you're with and spend time with in person, training yourself on how to gather information and really get to know the whole person and make good decisions on your partners and the people you spend your time on, until you get good at that, you don't even need to be worrying about the men in the different country from you that speak a different language than you. Because that's only going to make things harder for you to observe and understand and analyze when you have language barriers or cultural barriers or just a whole bunch of stuff you don't understand and can't cue into. So better for you actually to deal with the men in your area and figure out how you can actually understand what it is you're looking for and attract the type of men you want in your area first before you ever start thinking about the men in a whole different area. Nothing against people that men from different cultures or different backgrounds, or maybe, there's a whole bunch of people in a place that you want to move to. I'm not saying that you are a bad person for feeling that way, but what I want you to understand is the same problems you would face dating men in your city or country is the same problems that you would face dating men in another city or country. And remember, anytime you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, men from New York are the most awesome, hottest, sexiest men ever. The guys, when I go to Toronto, the guys are so hot, so sexy. I can't believe it. Their schlongs are 90 inches. I can't even believe it. They all look like Tomisin. You have to understand that the women that live in that city are going to say to you, why do you want our men? Our men are literally garbage. They're such a waste of time. They can't do nothing for you. They're all useless. In fact, they're so useless, I want to date the men from your city because your city has all the hot, amazing men who look amazing. They have $1 million smiles, tall, dark, handsome. They're all so hot, so sexy. I want to be with your men from your city. And you're thinking, all my men are trash over here. You come to my city, you'll be disappointed. They're all so everyone is saying the same thing. I just say that to say, because that is part of the virus that takes over your mind when you are obsessed with long distance relationships sometimes. I really mean that. Okay. Don't let that virus take over your mind. You'll end up wasting a lot of time, especially with guys. You'll waste a lot of time.
If you mean the 30-year-old woman,
let's do like one more good one. Okay. This one was a good one.
If they wanted to, they would. It's the biggest scam and the biggest...
Okay, I didn't get to watch this all the way through, so let's watch this all the way through together.
If they wanted to, they would. It's the biggest scam and the biggest lie that is meant to disempower women on this app. This is the most...
Damn, that was a bold statement. All right, let's see what you got to say, Missy.
Patriarchal, harmful mindset I've ever seen when it comes to dating for women. First of all, it lacks complete nuance. Second of all, it puts all the power on the man and not the woman. And third of all, it perpetuates this deep fear for women of not feeling enough. Sometimes people just genuinely do not have the capacity. So if you tell yourself, oh, if they wanted to, they would. You're like, oh, if I was enough, then they would buy me flowers. Or if I was enough, then they would choose me and they would want to commit to me and they would want to date me. When that has nothing to do with you, okay? You have to recognize that other people's actions and choices are a projection of them, not you. So while I do believe that when a man wants something, he goes for it and he does it, I also believe that sometimes people just do not have the capacity. And when you believe in that mindset, you literally are perpetuating this idea that if only you were enough and if only you were worthy, then he would have treated you differently. When it's like, no, if this man had the emotional intelligence, if he had the capacity, if he had the openness, if he had the maturity, then he would treat you as such. So please do not internalize men's actions to be a testament about your worth. It's toxic, it's harmful, it disempowers you as a woman, and the new mindset that you should put out is, I become what I would like to attract. And you are very intentional and very clear about how you want to feel in your relationships, about how you want to feel around men, about how men are going to treat you, about what your standards and values are, and you just do not settle for less. You don't even get into the conversation of why didn't he and why he did and why this and that. No, you're in your energy, you stay in your body, you stay in your standards, and you know that how other people is treating you and their inadequate words or actions is a reflection of them, not you.
So what she is, Kim said some really great stuff here. Okay. By the way, if you guys are wondering any of the creators' names, just go over to the YouTube stream because I have the creators' names in the top right corner there for you guys wondering. So some of the stuff that Kim said here is really valuable. And I actually agree with a lot of it, right? If he wanted to, he would, sounds simple in theory. But like she mentioned, a lot of times you're going to be attaching your value to if he actually ends up wanting to. So then when he doesn't want to, you're going to feel like that's a reflection on you when it's not. And like she said, guys can have so much going on. See, this is the crazy part. You can date someone from Hinge or Bumble or Tinder, and you're going out on a date with them, not realizing that you are on a date with someone and you might be the 134th person they've swiped that day when they swiped you. And you might be the 20th chat they have going on that day when they were talking to you. And you might be the second or third or even fourth date that week that they're on. And so I say that to say, sometimes when you're dating men and either you're not compatible or things happen or things fizzle out, you're always going to assume, of course, it's natural. You're the center of your universe. So you're assuming, oh, it's all happening to me and this is a reflection of me. But you have no idea what's going on with those men. And a lot of those men who are serial daters that go on a bunch of dates all the time, they have so much other stuff going on, most of which you don't want to be in your vicinity. And you don't even want that energy to be inside you because they have a lot of trauma going on. They have so much going on. They're not even able to like keep up with properly being able to like absorb a date and see how things are going. Why do you think I tell you guys, don't be out here trying to have a super huge, crazy roster? Because a lot of guys that have a lot of stuff going on, they got a roster of 35 women. They're dating this person, that person. They're dating 3 to 4 new people a week. All of those girls that they date once or twice and then they never speak to again and it fizzles out, some of those girls are actually compatible with them. Some of those girls they're actually going on good dates with, but they don't even have the capacity to take any of those people in. The reason I just end up saying all of that is to help you understand it's not always a reflection of you. And I want you to get good at, one, being intentional about who you're dating and how you're dating, and stay in control of what you can control. Don't worry about the things you can't control. And the things you can't control is how someone else treats you. You can present yourself the best way. You can set boundaries and expectations and be authentic to you and put your best foot forward. But outside of that, you can't get locked into the idea that, hey, if a guy doesn't want to date me or if a guy doesn't want to treat me well, then that's because I'm a low value woman. Okay? No, that's because he could have a multitude of different things going on that lead to him, not being able to be the man that you need, which is fine, which is why you're going to detach yourself from the outcome. And when I say detach yourself from the outcome, you're going to detach yourself from the idea that, hey, I'm on a date with you and I like you, so it has to be you that I end up with. No, it doesn't. It can be anyone that treats you how you expect to be treated in a relationship and fits your criteria. And that will be perfectly fine with you in life and in love. Do you understand? Okay. So with that being said, we're going to hop into our last segment of the day. Spam it up in the chat if you know what our last segment of the day is. You guys should know by now what our last segment of the day is. I'm going to ask you in the chat, do you know what time it is? Are you aware, if you're a Players Club regular member, what time it is? It's an amazing time. It's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry. Don't look at the clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look anywhere else in your home. It's a special, special time. And if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Woo, life is good, man. Life is good. It's Discord time, man. Okay, for those of you who are unfamiliar and you don't know what's going on here, might be new here, Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of our Players Club community get an opportunity to ask me live on the show a question related to their relationship or situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, I'm going to give you the few ways that you can submit a question to me, and I answer it for you. So the first way is to submit your question to our free relationship advice section, which is in the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. The second option, you just go into our Discord, click it, and then go into our free questionnaire here. So when you drop in your question into our forum, you're going to notice there's a whole bunch of other questions here. Now, all these highlighted ones are ones that have yet to be answered by me. So if you drop in your question into the free section today, it's going to take me a couple weeks to get to your question, unfortunately, okay? Just because the nature of all the questions that I get on a daily basis. Now, if you're too impatient to wait, you have another option to drop in your question to me. You can put it in our Relationship Advice Premium. The way you get into that is simply by going to the same link in my bio on TikTok or link in the description. You you donate to the show through the link that says Premium Relationship Advice. When you donate to the show, you're going to see a prompt that says to put in your Discord name and the title of your question. That sends me a notification so that I can see and verify that that's you and your question. That way randoms aren't putting in their question in the premium. And this allows you to skip the line. Okay, so it's like a VIP pass at a theme park. You get to skip the line of the free section because I answer these premium questions first before going into our regular free relationship advice. Now, if you also are someone who wants me to answer your question, but you don't want your relationship out on Front Street, you have another opportunity to ask me a question through our private link, which is in the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description. You fill out the form, you donate to the show, and then you ask me a private question. It goes straight to me. No one else sees it. And I answer it directly back to you via your email. And I send you a voice message. And it's just between you and I. So you don't have to worry about me putting your business out in front of everyone. So those are your 3 options to submit your questions. Now, let's head into our first question of the day, which comes from Sunshine in our premium relationship advice section. Okay. So, Sunshine starts off, or sorry, Starshine starts off with ego and perceived rejection. So Starshine says, "Hi, Tomisin, please analyze and provide general clarity. I know he's not the one for me. I should just unsubscribe from the situation, forget, and move on. I'm interested in your psychological interpretation and insight." Oh, I think we did this one yesterday. Yeah, we did this, or not, on Friday. Sorry. We did do this one on Friday. Yeah, Starshine we did on Friday. So let's go up here to TT, okay? TT says, "What is the DJ looking for?" Okay. TT says, "Hi, Tomisin. I am female, 30. I started talking to a man I met at a work event. He is a DJ and works for a radio company. He is 32. When he came up to me, he said, 'Do you have an Instagram?' I just said nah and smiled. Met at another work event and gave him my phone number. Through June and July, he was talkative to me and would call regularly. We had our first date at the end of July, as we live 3 hours apart. We had ramen and walked outside. And he picked me up and we made out. We kept it at that. He did say we should make love, and I just said eventually. After the date, the communication drastically dropped off. In the end of August, I was in his area for travel and he took me to dinner dancing. After we got into his car for dinner, he said he wanted to introduce me as his girlfriend to his dad. I was so shocked and I was so shocked and didn't respond properly at the moment. He asked me to his place again, but I declined and we just ended up making out and he put his hands on my dump truck. I also had to go home the next day, so meeting the dad didn't happen. I don't know if it would have, even if I happened if I said yes. He said he enjoyed the date, dancing, and that I looked incredible, but it has been a month since that date and we've texted maybe 5 times. I did ask for clarification about the girlfriend comment, and he just said not to worry. He didn't want to put pressure on me. I called about 2 weeks ago and we talked for 10 minutes about our day. And then he abruptly had to get off the phone and he said he'd call me back soon. He never called back. He texted 1 week later and acted like everything was normal. I texted him back and the next day, I think you might say, said I preferred to be friends because he's giving me mixed signals. I still hadn't heard back. Here is my question. Why did this behavior / communication change so much after the first date? Is he just not into me or just wanted pineapples and was disappointed when I didn't give it to him? Why say he wanted to introduce me as a girlfriend, but so distant? Okay, TT. So I'm going to give you some advice that I hope is clear to you. Okay. Let's also factor in here. He's a DJ. Okay. DJ at a radio station, nevertheless a DJ. Okay. Let's start with the obvious. Your first date was having ramen, and he picked you up and you guys made out. You guys live hours apart, so he drove there. Do you mean he drove to your house and you guys ate ramen inside your house? Because he picked you up. So unless you guys ate ramen outside, you said you ate ramen and then walked outside. So I'm assuming you ate ramen inside. So did the date consist of him driving to your place, you guys ate ramen inside your place and then made out? Or you went to a ramen spot? Okay, yeah, so I think maybe you went to a ramen spot. Okay, that's better. Here's the thing. That's better than eating I thought you meant the ramen package, like Top Ramen. I think you meant like a ramen spot, like, the one where you slip the noodles out the bowl at the spot. Here's the thing, though. This type of stuff is obvious, but when you want to convince yourself that it hopefully might not be that, you want to kind of complicate it more than it needs to be complicated. The reality of it is, the reason he said that he wanted you to be his girlfriend is because he thought that that would make it easier for him to sleep with you that night. Okay. And guys just get accustomed to, hey, what can I throw out there that could be the trigger word for her, the trigger sentence for her that'll make her feel like, yeah, we should sleep together now. And honestly, some guys, whether they're older or younger, they just start throwing stuff out there that they don't really mean to kind of see what sticks. I don't think he had any intention of seriously introducing you to his dad as his girlfriend. But I think maybe if he had the opportunity to do that just as a way to convince you that this was serious, he would do that. Because let's just be so for real. No guy who wants you to meet his dad or any of his parents and seriously sees a future with you would just randomly stop talking to you after that. It doesn't make sense. And I know that that's why you're confused, which is why I'm trying to provide you with clarity and help you understand that that was just a plot to kind of get in your pants. Okay. And it's not an accident that he pretends to want to introduce you, or he says he wants to introduce you to his dad and then stops talking to you. Whenever the logic train stops making sense, that usually means you're either missing information or the information you have is inaccurate. So in this case, the information you have is inaccurate. Him saying that he wants you to meet his dad and be his girlfriend is truthfully just a lie. Okay. Because if it actually was, he would act on that, and he would act in a way that's congruent to that, meaning just in line with that. There wouldn't be such a misalignment between what he's saying he wants to introduce you as his girlfriend and, how he actually treats you, right? Sorry, let me highlight it there because some of you guys were saying, where did he say that, right? After we got into his car, he said that he wanted to introduce me as his girlfriend to his dad. This is where she said it, okay? So I just say that to say, when a guy is saying that he wants to do that and then all of a sudden he's not, calling you or texting you after that, that means that the information you had wasn't accurate. If he was actually trying to introduce you as his girlfriend and take that seriously, he would have acted on that. Also, keep in mind too, guys are gonna keep in mind what actually makes sense for the natural occurrence of how a natural human being will be building up their emotions towards someone in a relationship. So your first date, okay, at least it wasn't Top Ramen. You guys had ramen at, I'm assuming, at a restaurant, and then you made out after the restaurant. That was the first date. The second date, he's talking about introducing you as his girlfriend. This is where you have to start using discernment, and being able to like understand, hey, we're on a second date and this guy's telling me a story about introducing me to his dad as his girlfriend. That doesn't seem like a logical, like, escalation of feelings for someone who's being genuine about their feelings. Like, someone says, like, no flowers, no money, etc. Right? It's funny that you mentioned that, because like you would think some of those things might come before I want to introduce you to my dad as my girlfriend. Why don't we see if we actually even like each other first? Why don't we see if we even, like, do we even know each other's last names? He doesn't even know your last name. And he's talking about he wants to introduce, like, sometimes you have to be able to spot the BS when the BS is present in front of you. Because if you don't get good at spotting BS, you'll be very confused like you are now. Because the moment a guy starts telling you on the second date that he wants to introduce you to your boyfriend, you should be running. Because that's not someone who's either thinking rationally or logically, or that's someone who's trying to manipulate you by overwhelming you with emotions that you make mistakes and you sleep with him before you're even ready. Because either way, whether he did that because he actually thought that that was like that what he should be doing, or whether he did that because he was trying to manipulate you, either way, that's not someone you want to be in a relationship with. Because someone who is so confused that they think the logical route is first date, let's eat ramen, second date, I'll introduce you to my parents and try to date you. You don't want to be building a relationship with someone that's that far, because that is very weird behavior. Okay, that's not natural escalation of feelings there. And secondly, if the reason for him doing that is because he was just trying to manipulate you, you still don't want to be with a guy like that, because obviously then he's just going to do that, sleep with you, and then disappear on you anyways. Okay, you guys want to get good at sniffing out so one, we have the manipulators, but then two, in terms of men, you also have weirdos, like just straight weirdos. And you don't want to be building relationships or trying to be with a weirdo. That's only going to put you in a very weird place, a strange place, and you're going to be constantly feeling uncomfortable. Because even if you were to meet this guy's parents, you'd be like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, why? I don't even know who you are. Why am I meeting your parents and shaking his hand and introducing myself to him? Like, the stories and stuff I'd be telling your dad about me, you don't even know. Like, this is so weird and awkward. I don't know how to present myself. I don't even know if I like you. And you'll just be in such an uncomfortable place dating a weirdo like that, okay? Everyone's weird in their own little way, but I just mean weirdo in the sense where, like, this isn't the way that, like rational human beings go about relationships. I hope you know. And I think you do know that, which is why you sent in this question. So keep that in mind when you're dating guys. When you start noticing this really like weird energy or this really weird way of going about relationships that makes you feel like a little bit uncomfortable, distance yourself from those guys as well, because if they can't see how that's strange, then there's something deeper at play here that you just don't want to be around. Okay, that's very weird behavior. Even if I was a guy and a girl did that to me, I'd be very scared and nervous, because why are you trying to introduce me to your parents before I even know you or you even know me? Very weird, very strange behavior. And strange behavior like that only goes bad places. I can assure you. Stay away from the super weirdos like that. But sorry, to answer your question, TT, don't bother talking to him ever again or entertaining him ever again. Okay, no need. That's very weird energy. Princess asked in our chat. She says, "Why even offer?" Okay, so Princess says, "Sorry, this is from weeks ago, but you kept skipping me, and so I take it down to delete it. But I did pay my TD statement attached. Wait, what? Okay. Okay. Attached, and I never scam a fellow Canuck. Okay. I, 31, met him. He's a 33 male at a conference. While texting, he seemed to get out of his way to mention he had a girlfriend. I stopped replying, thinking maybe I came across as flirty. Then he double texted me and asked if I was still there in the chat. Huh? He ended up asking me if I was free to have a call with him when we spoke. And we spoke for a few minutes laughing and both enjoyed ourselves. The conversation ended in him saying to let me know when I'm back in town, so if I need anything in his city, I can let him know. Am I missing something really? Let me read this in between part again. So he mentioned he had a girlfriend. I stopped replying, thinking maybe I came across as flirty. Then I double texted theirs in chat. He ended up asking me if I was free. Princess, why did the conversation continue going on after that? He said at least 3 times during the conversation for me to message him. Definitely let me know when you're back. Okay. I ended up messaging him. Why? Why? No, my head hurts. Let me take a break. Because I don't want to lose it on you, okay? Let me take a break. Let me stand up. Let me stretch. Oh God. Because I don't want to lose it. I don't want to be mean, I want to give you truthful advice, but I don't want to get so angry that it doesn't work. Let me do a stretch. Let me do some downward dog. Oh. Okay. Let me try and oh God. Oh. Back and stuff. Okay, because I don't want to yell, and I don't want to scream, but I'm not understanding what you're doing here. Why did you message him? Why? So you messaged him with a "Hey John," nothing more, nothing less. What? I'm supposed to clap it up for that? And would you believe he left me on red? Had been like 3 weeks now. Princess, the man has a girlfriend. I love you and I care about you. I'm not going to try to be too mean about this. If the man has a girlfriend, when he leaves the conference, he's probably going home to his girlfriend. So when you message him, "Hey, John," he might be with his girlfriend. In fact, he might, realize, what the hell am I doing messaging a girl who I met at a conference? I'm not going to see her or speak to her, and I don't want her messaging me while I'm with my girlfriend. So he just leaves you on red because he was probably horned up when he said, "Send me a message." But now that he's actually home with his girlfriend, he's like, buddy boy, let's put our pee back in our pants because you're going to ruin your relationship with your girlfriend messaging a random you met at a conference. I'm not saying that you're useless or you're not worthy of his attention or anything like that, but he has a girlfriend, and I'm sure he probably doesn't want to sacrifice his relationship to message you. Okay? When he said that, he was horned up. So what's his deal? Why mention the girlfriend in passing? Why ask to have a quick call and then times 3, remind me to message him when I'm back? Horned up. You have to understand, guys say stuff and do stuff in the moment when they're horned up. Even if they're not like physically hard, they're emotionally hard where they're just like so excited that, oh my God, you're attractive, you're flirting with me, I'm flirting with you, I feel the connection, I feel the energy. And so they just start yapping. The blood's flowing to their pee-pee and they start tingling all over. They start yapping and saying stuff that they don't really mean and stuff that they're not going to follow through with. They're just yapping. You have to be able to spot when a guy sees you, and guys are like dogs. When they get excited about a shiny new toy, when you throw the shiny new toy in front of them, they're so excited, their tail's wagging, they're barking, their tongue's out, they're shaking. It's like you'll feel like they're the happiest dog on earth, but it's just because you're shiny and new. And he's all excited and horned up. He's wanking himself off to the fantasy that, oh my God, we might sleep together tonight. But in reality, he's not going to follow through with any of this stuff. He's just horned up. I really mean that, right? I'm back to say that he wants to show me around. And then when I did, just stay silent. Once again, horned up. My interpretation of this situation is that he has thought it over and feels like meeting me would be him being disloyal to his girlfriend, which is 100% fair. That's 100% fair. I hope you know that. Which is highlighted by the fact that there is no true professional reason for us to meet, because during the conversation, he seemed to be really searching for a professional reason to stay in contact. Okay, princess. So if you're smart enough to know that, why did you even message him in the first place? If you know he has a girlfriend and you know that you messaging him is not about anything professional, and you know that his intention with you is not to do anything professional, why did you go out of your way to message him? See, I'm not going to cast the blame on either you or him, but I have to hold you accountable as well, because that was a choice that you made with information that you had. So what were you actually trying to do there? I have to be real with you. I can't sugarcoat it. What were you actually trying to do there if you're smart enough to be able to acknowledge, he has a girlfriend. He wasn't trying to do nothing professional. In fact, he tried to pretend like it was professional, but he definitely wasn't doing that. Okay. I myself can't find a reason for us to truly meet if it wasn't romantic, and don't date taken people, and wouldn't, but at the same. Why is there a but? Why is there a but? You're supposed to say, for no reason whatsoever would I date someone in a romantic relationship. You're not supposed to say, I don't date people who are taken, and I wouldn't, but. You're not supposed to say a but. There's not supposed to be a but. You're supposed to have enough respect for yourself that you're nobody's second choice. And if someone isn't, ready to break up with their partner in order to be with you, they're not going to be able to have you just lurking around as a side chick to message. There's not supposed to be a but. Do you think princesses are second options or side chicks? Your name is Princess, right? At the same time, you said, but at the same time, I still want him to reply to the message, and I also want to meet up with him in person. As I have to admit, I was attracted. Let me take another break, chat. Let me take another break. I don't want to get mad. Princess, I love you. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to yell. I don't want to scream. Okay. But what you're saying here is very bad. Very bad. Very bad. Okay. I want to see you do well. This is not well. I have to explain something to you, Princess. I care about you. I love you. I want to see you do well. what you're operating on here is delusion. That's what's happening. You're operating on delusion because you're thinking that that he's in a romantic relationship, but you're living in a delusional fantasy that, oh, well, even though he's in a romantic relationship, maybe there's some possibility that we could grow something out of this. You are. Because the reality of it is two things. If you didn't have this delusional fantasy that maybe something could come of this, you wouldn't even bother messaging. The other thing is, if you had some self-respect, you wouldn't even bother messaging. Because where is this supposed to go? And what type of girl are you if you're going to, like, I have to be real with you. You don't make yourself look like someone with self-respect when you're messaging a man who has told you he has a girlfriend. You're acknowledging that. He's acknowledging that. You're acknowledging that the reason you're messaging him is not for any reason to do anything other than the fact that you're attracted to him. So what's the purpose here? What's the actual purpose? You say, I just want to keep him in the friend zone until we're both single. I'm not even going to respond. I just can't. I can't. It's. So I don't know, what would you do in order to get the desired outcome I want of a message back? Like, how rude. And in person meetup, be creative, please. Let's scroll down here. I cannot find this. Oh, that's part of the payment. So you said here, he said he was at the conference with his girlfriend. Like, he didn't say, sorry, I have a girlfriend. And he asked me to message him. I don't understand what. I don't understand. Are you trying to say that you think that he might have not been referring to a girlfriend? Is that what you're trying to say? The message was professional at first, and then he said I was there with my girlfriend. So I stopped texting completely. Then he messaged again asking if I was still there. So I replied, and he asked for a call. There is no straight man that would refer to any girl as a girlfriend if it's casual. Like, there's like just no way around that. So if he's saying I was there with my girlfriend, that means he was there with his girlfriend. If that wasn't his girlfriend, he wouldn't say girlfriend. He wouldn't say GF. He wouldn't say none of that. He would just say I was there with my friend, or I was there with a friend, or he might not even mention her. Unless he's not straight, because only not straight men would say I was there with my girlfriend. So assuming this man is straight, if he's saying I was there with my girlfriend, that's his girlfriend. I get it. I completely understand that, people, go through things or whatever, but like, he's not saying that for no reason. So you said, nah, but people break up all the time. I'm just explaining things. They've only been together a few months. It doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. Princess, your delusion is pulling you very far, very fast. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they've only been together a few months. If that was his ex-girlfriend, he would have said, I was there with my ex-girl. A man is not going to tell you, okay? A man is not going to tell you that the girl he was with, knowing that he has attraction to you, he's not going to say, I was somewhere with my girlfriend when that's in fact his ex-girlfriend. He's going to say, no more typing, okay? I was there with my ex. Princess, you need to pull yourself out of delusion. I am not going to give you a solution to try to get a man who is in a relationship with someone else. on how you can get him to text you. In fact, even if he was single, I wouldn't even be able to give you advice except for do nothing, because there is nothing you should be doing to get a man interested in you when he already if he wants to be with you, he has your number, he knows how to contact you, and he knows how to call you. In fact, you even went through the effort of reaching out to him. So you reached out to him and he didn't respond to you. So that tells you not only did he have your number to message you if he wanted to, you even messaged him and he still didn't respond to you. Let it be where it is. He has shown you what his true intention is. He can yip yap all he wants at the conference. Oh, meet me here, do this with me, message me, blah, 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 blah. When it actually came down to it, he didn't message you back. He didn't contact you. Why? I wonder why. Probably because he's with his girlfriend. Doesn't matter if it's only been a few months or a few weeks. At the end of the day, he has a girlfriend. You're getting a taste of it right now from the very beginning. You will not be his number one priority if he has a girlfriend. There is no operating off of the attraction you had with him when he has a girlfriend. Unless you just want to continue being a side chick and you want to be priority number 2 for the remainder of the relationship, sure. There also is no version of excuse me, you're going to make me choke on my spit. There's no version of a relationship where you stay friends with a guy until you're both single. Because I seen you mention that down there as well, okay? You're not going to stay friends with a guy simply because you guys are both, until you guys both get single. That's not a real friendship. You don't keep friends around that want to sleep with you or are physically attracted to you that want to date you. That's not a friendship, okay? So rid yourself of the idea that you guys would be friends up until you're both single. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous and inappropriate. If you had a boyfriend, also think about it like this. If you had a boyfriend as well that was having an ongoing friendship with someone who was attracted to him, that he was attracted to, would you consider that an appropriate or inappropriate relationship? If you would consider that an inappropriate relationship, why are you attempting to have that with someone else's man? Okay? Why even bring that energy into your own vicinity? Okay? And also think about this as well. If this guy, just hypothetically, if he was willing to have a girlfriend and message you and chat you up and build a friendship with you, knowing that you guys have a thing going on, and let's say hypothetically you start dating him, who's to say that that can't get done to you also by him? He did it with you. What's stopping him from doing it to you? Sometimes this is the thing I want to just a quick pointer out for everyone to learn a lesson from. Don't ever forget, yes, we're all unique individuals. We all have our own unique fingerprint. But don't get so cocky or delusional that you think that something that happens to someone else can happen to you. So, princess, just remind yourself, if this guy were to entertain you and start chatting you up while he has a girlfriend and make a friendship out of you and him, don't think that you're immune to being in a relationship with him and that same thing happening to you. And now that you know he's willing to do that or capable of doing that, what's stopping him from doing that to you? Because you're better than the last girl? Because you're more amazing than the last girl? You have a bigger dump truck than her? Don't ever get so far in your delusion that you think, oh, I'm going to do this behind this girl's back and do this with this guy, even though he's married or has a girlfriend. But that will never happen to me. He's going to love me way different than he loved her. Me and him have a different type of bond than he has with her. He'll cheat on her with me, but it never will happen to me. That's delusion, and you're only going to end up putting yourself in very bad situations with people who aren't going to treat you well when you think that way. Okay? So I don't think there's anything for you here. Even if he was single, I don't think there's anything for you here. If you message a guy and he doesn't message you back, take that as a sign. If you call a guy, he doesn't call you back, take that as a sign. If you reach out to a guy and he doesn't reach out to you back, take that as a sign. Sometimes you guys want me to give you all these signs. Oh, if he has 6 toes instead of 5, if he has 33 teeth instead of 32, is that a sign that in reality, you know the signs, but sometimes you want to ignore the signs because you don't want to face the truth. If you message a guy and he doesn't message you back, there is nothing left to do. Especially if you message that guy and he has a girlfriend, there's nothing left to do. Okay. Next we have here, let's go to our next question. Oh, did I skip one? No. So Starshine we did yesterday, and TT we just did, and Princess we just did. Okay. Let's go to our next question, which comes from, let's scroll down here a bit. Our next question comes from Fruit. What is this? What is this? Best part of the lives? Okay, let's see what this is. I have no idea what this is. Oh, I think she sent this to me. Discord. Was that me? I think AI is getting really good nowadays, so it's AI is quite strong. I think that's ChatGPT 65 there, because the way you animated me in ways that I'm clearly not animated is the AI revolution is definitely here. Okay, let's go on to our next question here. Submission. Okay, let's go to Iris. Iris says, let me go to the question. Iris says, slept with a close friend. Oh. Hi, Tomisin. This is a crazy day we're having today. I don't know if I can take too much more of this. Hi, Tomisin. Just found your channel, and it's been fun catching up with your live shows. I'm worried, Iris. I haven't dated in years, but I still find your content useful. LOL, I live for the Discord time now. You're in it now. This post is a bit different from most I've seen because I might be the toxic one here, but I'll let you and the chat be the judge. You're in for it. I'm 21, slept with a friend, 23, who I've known for 6 years now. It was my fault because I made the move in a moment of weakness. What type of weakness were you having? If you're that weak and that horned up, that's a problem. You need to be going and grabbing that Tracy's dog, and you need to rub a couple out before you even go on a date. Because there's weakness, and then there's weakness to the point where you're making the move. That you're horned up past levels that should even be legal there. If you're the woman making the move because you're that horned up. After going on a weekend trip and spending time together for the first time in a while, you're too horned up. We'd been busy with school. We submitted our senior thesis that week. You're horned up and happy for submitting your thesis. Okay? So you had the horned up happiness going on. It's a combination that's deadly. Okay? And our jobs. I have feelings for him and believe he does too, but I've been shutting down his advances because I never felt good enough for him. I know I'm coming across to you as low self-worth, but trust me, he deserves better. But I know he doesn't see it that way because when I expressed it one time, he said, F you for thinking that way, and responded, I hope you never realize you're wrong. He said, I wish you'd give yourself more credit. I'm a dismissive avoidant and he's secure, in touch with his emotions. I barely show affection to anyone, but it seems to come naturally to him. I always admired him for that. Our high school friends used to ship us, but I always dismissed it. I think you mean like they used to like say you guys should be in a relationship. Is that what you mean? After the pineapples happened, I told him we should pretend it didn't happen. This is the absolute worst thing you can do, Iris. When you sleep with a guy, okay, I want you guys to all understand this. Whether or not you realize afterwards it was a mistake, when you sleep with a guy, if you want to keep even an ounce of your respect, you cannot make it seem like you made a mistake or that like he convinced you or like, you know, got you to be in a position that you didn't want to be in. Because all that does is let him know that if you ever set a boundary, that he can cross that simply by persuading you. Because when you allow it to make it seem like he persuaded you into making that decision, it makes it seem like you're very weak-minded and can't stick to the right decision for you. Like you can't stand on business. It's very, very, very bad. If you sleep with a guy, you're better off just acknowledging that it happened. And if you don't want to do it anymore, then just say, yo, you know what? I want us to focus on this part of our relationship, blah, 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 and do that. But don't make it seem like, oh, I wish it didn't happen. Let's not talk about it. Let's put it to the side. Let's pretend it. Like all of that makes it seem like, oh my gosh, like I didn't mean to do that, as if you're not in control of you. And so guys see that and they can't respect you when you act as if you're not in control of your own actions, because then they start thinking, well, when you set boundaries or standards, like, why should I care? It's not even like you can actually stand on any of that. Okay. I think he was taken aback, but didn't object to it. Still couldn't help but cuddle with him as we went to sleep. Did that previous night too. I think you meant to say you did it that previous night too, but because I was drunk. Let me take a break, chat. Let me take a break, because I can already see that you're trying to stress me out here, Iris. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I can see it, Iris. You're trying to stress me out here. You're trying to get me riled up. Trying to get my blood pressure high. I quit alcohol and weed in 2022, but I needed to drink that night because I didn't want to lose sleep over my anxiety of new environments. We're just having multiple problems on multiple problems here, okay? I get it. You lose but how bad is it to lose a little bit of sleep in a new spot that you're sleeping in? Like, is it really that serious that you have to drink okay, this is where, Iris, I like you, but you got to be honest. Did you drink because you just wanted to be more comfortable in the moment and make it easier to say yes? Because if that's the case, then just say that. Don't say I drank to sleep better. Come on. Don't say I drank to sleep better, because you weren't just tipsy, you were drunk, you said. Be for real. He had refused to drink when I drank at dinner. Wow. So he's drunk, you're drunk, and he's sober. This is even worse. And when I asked why, he responded, "You need me to be sober, trust me." You were right at the beginning. This is probably going to make you look worse than him. Didn't mean much to me at the time because I was drunk. Wow. But now I see that he was trying to be the responsible one and prevent things like this from happening. My dumb butt still jumped his bones for the next night, of course, but he didn't stop me because I was sober. I swear at the beginning of this paragraph, you just said, okay, you guys did it. And then you said you should pretend it didn't happen. This is what you said to him. So you guys had pineapples the first time. Then you said pretend it didn't happen. And then literally after that, you guys cuddled. And when you were going to sleep, literally a couple of hours after doing it, you ended up doing it again. But that time it was only because you were drunk. So now you've done it twice. And then now we're getting to the third night you guys are spending together, but this time you're doing it while sober. Back in high school, when we were 16 and 17, he was the popular, nerdy, friendly guy everyone liked, and I was the quiet girl who never talked to anyone besides my friends. I know what in the what pad, right? Against all odds, we became friends because we started talking online, and any time he showed me affection, like casually lie down with his head on my lap during lunch break and stuff. Remember thinking, wow, he's not ashamed to be seen with the weird girl. But when I got drunk that night, the first night of the weekend, that was the first night. It was the first time I showed him affection in return. That doesn't make it better though. Like your affection could have been way more subtle and not, let's sleep together. Like, what is it worth if the first time you show him affection, you sleep with him? I get it, you guys have known each other for a long time, but you're only going to be more confused after this. I'm someone who hates PDA, but I leaned my head on his shoulder and he leaned his head on me as well, and we sat there finishing our dinner. He was amused and kept saying he shouldn't have let me get drunk. You know what the saddest, I'm actually really sad about this. You know what the saddest part about him saying this is? What he probably means is he had so much more respect for you as a person and as someone he like actually wants to be with before seeing you drunk and seeing you act like that. So what he means is the kind of like reverence he had for you and like spending so much of his like life with you and building his like relationship with you and getting to know you as a human being went away when you started acting like that. That's honest to me, to be honest with you, Iris, that's what that translates to. Because when a guy, think about if a guy is sleeping with you, you would think, oh, that should be the ultimate time where he likes me the most. If he's sleeping with you while you're drunk and then telling you afterwards, I shouldn't have let you get drunk, that means he's lost some respect for you. That means he's actually disappointed with himself and how he now feels about you after experiencing you that way. It's quite embarrassing. After returning to our town, I brought the pineapple situation up myself because it bothered me. Now it bothers you? As we were hanging out in my room, I asked him if he's okay with what happened. I mean, of course he's okay with it. Does that mean he has more respect for you now? Probably not. He said he was confused, but that he respects my decision to not talk about it. It's very weird and strange. You sleep with someone and then you immediately don't want to talk about it as if that wasn't you making that decision. That is very weird and very strange. And it probably makes him feel very uncomfortable because one, he was sober. So he's starting to question himself like, wait, I was sober. I thought you definitely wanted that. And the fact that you're saying, let's not talk about it makes me feel like as if I was the one that did this to you when you were the one leading the whole thing. That can also be very like a weird situation for men because you're making it seem like you're embarrassed about it or like you shouldn't have done it, but you were the one leading it. He didn't force you to get drunk. In fact, he purposely didn't get drunk so that you guys could both be good. So that also puts him in a very weird spot as well. Said he just wants to be friends. She just wants whatever I want, which I interpret to mean he's down for a relationship. Don't interpret that to mean that. But is fine with staying friends as well if that's what don't interpret that to mean that. That's not what that means. I thanked him for being understanding and he comforted me, but I got emotional. Like, I get it, Iris, but like these are your choices. He said I could ask him anything I wanted. I could have asked if he has feelings for me too, but there'd be no point in making him say it if he had no intentions to take that convo anywhere. Is it weird that I am sure he does, even though he never actually confessed seriously? The few times he asked me out on a date, I brushed it off as a joke, but we still go out regularly, and it's not that a DT from a date. What? I don't know what that means. Okay. It's the whole when a man loves you, you'll know it thing. What are you talking about? You said no you said no to the date, but you say yes to sleeping with him. Oh, someone said it's not that different. Okay, but why you're saying no to the dates, but yes to sleeping with him? I don't, it's so backwards. He says I'm hard to read, but he reads me just fine. For example, one time we were at a hospital because he convinced me to get checked out. I had been feeling really dizzy. I was a few feet away waiting for him to take care of the payments and stuff. He looked back and motioned for me to put my earphones on. He knows I get anxious in public and I hate hospitals, but I didn't think he knew music helps me relax. He read my Wattpad books I wrote years ago, even though he hates reading and has low tolerance for cringe. One time I sent him pictures and he couldn't help stop geeking out about it because he loved them so much. When I fell off my bike and stayed home, he bought the stuff I was supposed to buy for my brother's, I think you meant to say birthday, and brought it and then washed my hair for me because I complained about how I needed to, but my wrist hurt. It's the little things like this, unless I'm being delulu. No, you're not. And actually, this makes me very sad, Iris, because this guy clearly liked you and you ruined all the respect he had grown for you over the years with like that silliness that you did. Getting drunk and acting like someone who I don't think you're trying to represent yourself as to him definitely like took you down notches in his book. Okay? And I just think that like how he was treating you here shows that he obviously cares, right? But I just think that, so why? Let's go on. That night after we had a talk, he left and I sent him a voice message and confessed okay, why are you doing it, making it worse? And confessed my feelings and explained I want us to move on and told him not to acknowledge it with a reply, and he didn't. What are you doing? You're confessing your feelings and then telling him don't respond, don't tell me how you feel, but I really like you. What? Oh my God. You're losing it here. You're losing it. I was glad we didn't go through the whole Harry and Sally can friendship survive awkward phase, but I could tell something had shifted in a good way. My plan was to get through this year till we get our degrees and drift apart and we transition into our actual adult lives, probably in different cities. He'd find a girl who deserves him and invest his time and energy and money into her because I felt bad he wasted it on me. I felt like the whole dismissive avoidant thing was hopeless. What's best for him is what mattered to me more than getting my happy ending. But then soon I realized I want to give it a shot and see if we can make it relationship work. I know I sound hella indecisive, but I'm sparing you the details of why I changed my mind because this is too long already. I swear it wasn't out of nowhere. But as I was trying to get him to come over without directly saying why, he started going through some family issues and I stopped responding as actively. Disappeared for days and then apologized over text for making me worry. I replied it's okay and that we can catch up when things are calm again. I started checking up on him every 10 days, but his replies were short. After doing this twice, he said he'll come over for sure 100%. We agreed on Sunday, and he said he couldn't wait to see me. That's the last time I heard from him. He didn't come over, didn't answer the text I sent 2 days later asking if he's okay. It's sort of out of character. Even my mom was concerned. He's always been consistent. He said I was the distraction. He said I was a distraction and deleted his account only to come back 2 days later. So I texted him online using an account he didn't know about. I knew he wouldn't ignore anonymous texts in case it's about work, his online tech job. He responded hello. At first, I felt relief and deleted the message. But then I started to feel bothered. Maybe I don't have the right to, since I used to disappear on him for months at a time. But he kept trying to reach out during those times and easily forgave me when I came back. Is that a good thing, by the way? I mean, sure, but I just don't see what it like. There's no correlation, right? Just because he did that for you, that doesn't mean there's correlation now. Okay. He kept sending me songs online, even though I wouldn't even click on them. I'm going through family issues myself at the moment, and he's the only one I want to confide in. I know I'm still young, but I feel like I'm never able to build this kind of connection with anyone else. Nothing, he's not letting me know he's okay could mean one of two things. Either he didn't think I'd be worried, or knew I would be and didn't care. I'm used to people treating me this way, assume I don't care because I'm not affectionate, but it hurts coming from him after all I've done to show him I'm human. I'm no longer going with the whole let's give this a shot thing, since he's been having a lot on his plate and it's not the right time anyways. Also, I'm a law student about to start a busy last semester, not to mention my job tutoring 8 kids. Wow. Thought things like this only happen in movies, like how a character you've been screaming at to realize she loves the guy finally decides to do something about it, and boom, it's at the worst possible time and it doesn't happen. So my question is, how should I react if he comes back? Call him out or act unbothered and see if he takes accountability himself, or just ask how he's been. My birthday is coming up September 30th, so your birthday is literally today. What? Okay, happy birthday. Your birthday is literally today. That was perfect timing, actually. I'm answering your question right on time. Happy birthday. My birthday's coming up September, so he'll probably talk to me then. Here's the timeline if it was confusing. No, I kind of got the timeline. If you don't approve pineapples without commitment, okay. He said the weekend. I feel the same. It was the first time I ever enjoyed. Wait, I want to see this part. But it does apply to my situation. Kissed him suddenly our second night of sharing the bed. He was covering the expense of the trip, and I didn't want him to pay for separate rooms. It escalated into making out because he held me close. Okay. He made a playlist for me. It was the first time I enjoyed. Wait, what? He said later it was the best weekend he's ever had. I feel the same. It was the first time I enjoyed pineapples. He washed my body in the shower afterwards. Yeah, you like that Wattpad. Yeah, you definitely been writing Wattpad for sure. So you talked about the move out for a little bit in the country I was celebrating. I'm just skimming through this because she's just giving a quick timeline on stuff. If you guys want to see the exact timeline, you can go to the message in the Discord. What if he's disappointed about my cue to back off? Let me see here if you did provide an update. Okay, so I thought as much. So here's an update on your birthday today. Update, he didn't reach out. We never forgot each other's birthdays. So I'm assuming he simply chose not to. I didn't go to the lake like I do on my birthdays because I wanted I didn't want him to find me there. I was alone in my dorm all day. Oh, so sad. Because I just registered for my last semester today and moved to campus. I can't live at home anymore because some issues with my dad. He told me last time I saw him in July that our mutual female friends are both back in town. My question is, what do men think of women who have no friends? I easily get along with people and think I'm likable enough, but socializing just exhausts me. That's all. I just want to skim through any questions that you have. That's a lot that you wrote. So last question here. He works so much. He barely gets any sleep. The hobby he can spare time and energy for anyone is music, specifically hip hop. I don't know how he's been giving me any of his time, honestly. So good and ambitious. How should women communicate this concern to men without it coming off as not believing in him or that he can handle it? Wait, what? Okay. Thank you, Iris, for your question. I know that I skipped a lot of stuff, but I want to kind of keep it short for you guys as well. So, Iris, here's the thing. Your update saying that he hasn't reached out and he didn't wish you a happy birthday. That's all we needed to know. You could have just ended it there. That was enough that you and all of us need to know. What I mean by that is if after all this that you guys have been through, it wasn't just like he stopped reaching out to you, but also on your birthday, he didn't reach out to you. That is the biggest possible sign you needed to know. He's either moved forward and either he's building a new relationship with someone else or he's just not interested in you anymore. It's unfortunate for me to say because I know this is probably going to be painful for you, but sometimes mistakes the timing of things is so important. And sometimes when you mess up the timing of a relationship or a talking stage, it can throw everything out of whack. Now, I know that this wasn't your boyfriend or anything. This was just a guy that's been your friend for a long time. But I think it's clear that in the process of him being your friend, he's learned you and had a certain amount of respect for you. And truthfully and honestly, I really mean this honestly, and I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I think after that experience with you at the weekend getaway or the week getaway, it ruined you in his eyes. Not that you're a horrible person or anything like that, but when I hear you say after a guy sleeps with you and experiences you on that level, and you're telling me that he is saying afterwards that he shouldn't have let you get drunk, that really tells me that something within him has changed about how he feels about you. And he wishes that he didn't feel how he does now about you because he was happier with you and in his perception of you before that. Okay. Anytime I hear a guy say that, that's really telling. And that was actually all I needed to know to understand where his head is at that point. And I know it sucks because I know you probably didn't start drinking thinking that, oh, this is going to ruin my relationship. But you just have to understand, like, this is a guy you've known since you were 16. You are now 21, okay? And he's 23. So you guys have spent plenty of years together. You understand, like, learning each other and understanding each other. And so when you learn someone to be a particular type of person, and then all of a sudden you see them in this completely different light, sometimes it can ruin it. RB says he got the ick. I think honestly, precisely, unfortunately. I think, and this is the thing too, not only were you drunk, but see, this is the thing, being drunk, you're not self-aware to be able to like step outside of yourself and see how you're acting in that moment. So the only person really observing you and receiving you like properly in that moment was him. So this is the worst part about being drunk, is that you also are thinking back to the situation, but you're unable to like actually gauge how weird or strange was I being. was I saying stuff that was super cringe? Was I like going up, like acting in a really weird and strange way that just made me really unattractive? See, you're drunk, so you aren't even able to really pinpoint that. The only person that was observing you in that moment was him. And what makes it actually so much worse is that not only were you drunk, but you were drunk and he was sober. So he was in his right mind, able to be absolutely self-aware about what was going on, what you were saying, and how you were acting. So this is what makes it so bad, because he can't forget that. He's sober and able to take everything that you're saying and doing in. And he's not drunk in his own mind, in his own world, that when he wakes up the next day, he's going to forget that. It's ingrained in his mind. And on top of that, the experience is just you and him. So it's not like when someone's super drunk and they're annoying and obnoxious, that you can just kind of take your focus away from them and go talk to someone else and not pay attention to them. He's only there with you. And everything you're saying and doing, he has to continue interacting with you. So every time you're cringe, he has to sit there and take it. Every time you're doing some weird stuff, he has to sit there and take it. Every time you're just kind of like aching him out, he has to sit there and actually experience you. He can't ignore it. And then when he wakes up the next day, he sees it in 4K, 8K HD because he was sober while experiencing it. Okay. Lumi Box says, he got the ick from her showing affection. No, it's not from showing affection. But you have to understand, when someone meets you and they grow with you, they get to have an understanding of what you're like. And it happens to all of us. I've done it too. It's part of the reason why I stopped drinking. When you get drunk, you're not able to be as self-aware about how you're acting, what you're saying, and the way you're carrying yourself. And so if he's used to you being this like really feminine, soft woman, or just like the type of person that you are that he's liked all this time, and then now you're drunk, and like you said, you're jumping his bones. You said it yourself. You jumped his bones and you slept with him multiple times throughout that night, right? And you didn't just say you were off a little bit of wine and feeling a little bit tipsy. You said you were drunk, right? You were drunk. Not only were you drunk, but you were first time in a long time drunk. I want those of you who don't drink to take heed into this. Being drunk when you drink regularly is very, very different from being drunk when you're drinking for the first time in a year. That type of drunk, because she said, I quit alcohol and weed in 2022, but I needed to drink that night. That first drunk, when you haven't drank in a year or over a year, is very, very bad, because your system is not used to processing alcohol. And you're not able to gauge yourself and where you're at. And you're not good at being a drunk when you haven't drank in a long, long time. Same way now, I quit drinking for 2 years. If I drank even like a couple shots now, I wouldn't be able to handle being drunk the same way. I'd start acting like a freaking goof. Okay? Because I'm just not able to like understand how to like properly carry myself while being drunk. I'm going to be like 19-year-old drunk again. And so I just say that to say, not only were you drunk, but you were first time drunk in a long time drunk. So now you're going to be even more goofy. Okay? Not that being goofy is bad, but there's a line where it just becomes obnoxious and off-putting. And like I said, not only were you drunk like that, but also he was sober. So he's taking in everything that you're doing. So unfortunately, this can really ick someone out. It really can. And unfortunately, it could get to the point where he just can't unsee that. And because he can't unsee that, he now spends time with you or tries to talk to you, but it's just not the same. It's not the same. I know that's painful, but I honestly think for a guy that used to wash your hair, right? A guy that used to wash your hair and bring you gifts and do all this and geek out over your pictures, a guy that used to do all this stuff for you before is now, let's scroll all the way down here so you guys don't think that I'm capping. That same guy that used to wash your hair and buy you gifts and things like that doesn't even send you a message for your birthday. Something has changed within him. And I'm not here to place all the blame on you and say you're a bad person, but I just have to make you aware 100% something has changed within him. And he feels differently towards you and the relationship. People don't go from buying you gifts and washing your hair and taking all that care of you to not messaging you on your birthday. I know that this is really painful, but I want some of you else who are in pain listening to this to take heedance to this and see this story and realize for yourself, you always want to be making decisions for future you. And sometimes, unfortunately, with the guy that you really want, you can mess that up in an instant by not taking care of future you. Because I'm sure, Iris, you thought that it was a good idea to drink in that one moment. But the reality of it is, I honestly advise you guys, if you really like a guy and you want to take that relationship to the next level, I advise you to never be drunk around that guy until that's actually your boyfriend. And I say that, and I know I have so many rules and so many things. You're like, Tomisin, when do I get to have fun? I promise you, you can still have fun. But here's the thing, though. When you get drunk, a lot of your ability to be coherent and understanding and self-aware and be able to like handle the nuance of situations and deal with people and keep your respect, that goes out the window. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And none of us are immune to making a fool out of ourselves when we're under the influence, including me. So if I was trying to take a girl seriously and go out with her seriously, and I want her to see me in the right light, I wouldn't drink either, because I want her to take me seriously, and I don't want to make a fool out of myself by getting so drunk that I'm not able to properly present myself the right way. It sucks and it's painful, but trust me, we all have to go through this. I've went through this myself, Iris. Not exactly the situation, but the realization that if I want to be taken seriously, I can't be drunk. If I want someone to take me seriously, I can't be drunk. And if I'm going to make the decision to be drunk, then I'm making the decision to not be taken seriously. Because once I get drunk, all bets are out the window. And I can make the mistake of presenting myself the wrong way. And unfortunately, if I present myself the wrong way to the right person, I can mess up my whole relationship and friendship with that person. Unfortunately. But that's the reality of life. So I think here, all in all, if you want real answers on, because I know you asked a lot of questions, but what you really want to know more than anything is, how should I move forward here? I honestly think for you, it's best to just leave this be. Because I can't ever advise you to be reaching out to someone that doesn't even reach out to you for your birthday. I can't. Because that is the clearest indication that that person is done with you and is trying to avoid you. Because not reaching out to your birthday is something that even acquaintances don't do. Even your acquaintances that barely like you or barely even want to be in your life will wish you a happy birthday. So the fact that this guy that spent all this time with you is not wishing you a happy birthday tells you he really wants to avoid seeing or speaking to you. So Iris, I know you asked some questions about music and how should I go about him, this and that. I don't think you need to be doing any reaching out at all. And if he does reach out back to you, I honestly think what you need to be doing is making a decision. Meaning, I think at that point, it needs to be, look, I just can't be friends with you anymore, and I can't have a casual friendship with you. And I think you need to make it clear, not that, he has to date you or anything, but that you can't go on with the casual friendship, because I just don't think that you're ever going to have happiness being like regular, casual, confused friends with him. And I think doing this thing like you talked about where you guys like just grow apart because of school and all this other stuff is only going to make it more painful. So I think it's better for you to draw the line where it's like, okay, if we're not going to be friends, then let's just not be anything. Because there's no point in you guys being friends that slept together, but you're single, but you can date other people, but you still like each other, but you'll be upset if you date other. You're going to waste so much time, so much energy, be so confused, be in so much limbo. It's just going to drain you more than it's going to help you. Don't do that. Don't put yourself in that confusing state. If he comes back into your life and he wants to date you, that's fine. But if he's not into that, and there's no point just continuing on the friendship. And so I think he's doing you a favor by making it this clear that let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. It's painful. It's disappointing. but it's the reality. And I don't want you to continue having to go back and forth like this for years of your life, because that only makes it longer for you to meet the person of your dreams that you can actually build with. All right, guys, that's the show for today. I know that was a really long message. I apologize. Well, so it wasn't really me, it was her. But we'll definitely get to some amazing messages tomorrow as well. And if you want to skip the line, feel free to skip the line by donating to the Discord, donating to the show, putting your username and the title of your question, and then you get to skip the line by being a Relationship Advice Premium, okay? Also, if you guys want to send me a private message, I just seen a notification. Someone just sent me a private message, so I'm going to try and get to that today or tomorrow. You guys can send me private messages as well. The link is in my bio, or the link is in the description as well if you don't want your business to be right on the show. Also, let me acknowledge we had a donation during the chat here. This donation came from Andrea. Andrea donated $10. Thank you so much, Andrea. Andrea says, went out on our 4th date, amazing, and today he stopped he stopped texting me, I think you meant to say. He always texts me every day for the past 3 weeks. If he replies tomorrow or later tonight, how long should I make him wait? So if a guy texts you and you guys have went on 4 dates and he hasn't texted you for the day today, I don't think that you necessarily need to play like a crazy texting game. I don't think that you need to respond to him in 5 seconds. But I think just give it a couple of hours and then respond to him. You don't need to yell at him or scream at him. When he wants to text you, he'll text you. Now, obviously, if this goes on for an extended period of time, then there's a different thing to consider, right? Because you don't want to be entertaining someone that's just going to be aloof for like 2 weeks at a time. But if it just takes him, 1 day to text you, and it's just been 1 day that he hasn't texted you, I don't think that you need to then take 84 hours to respond to him. Respond to him when you have time. Do something with your day so you're not sitting around waiting for him to text you. You could give it a couple hours and then respond, okay? Okay, so for those of you who are wanting to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is right above my head on the top left corner of the screen. It's just Tomisin_Tub, and it's on the bottom right of the screen for those of you on YouTube as well that want to follow me on Instagram. See everything I'm doing at all times of the day. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show, or you missed parts of the show because you came late, my YouTube is Tomisin Atobatele, where I'm live also. So you'll have the full live stream there available on my YouTube channel. Just go to my YouTube channel by typing in my name, then click on my YouTube channel, go into the live section, and you'll be able to see this full live show along with all the other live shows I've done since the beginning of the time. And the best part is you'll have the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video, so you don't miss a second of conversation, okay? For those of you who are wanting to know when I am live, I'm live every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to be back again tomorrow at that same time. We went overtime today. It's 7:30, okay? We went like 3.5 hours. All right, guys. So until we see each other tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, arrivederci, au revoir, goodbye, hasta la vista, sayonara, salam, ciao, bon voyage! And I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? I love you. Until then, bye-bye.